All right, and we are live. Before I bring on the guest of honor this evening, let me do some shout outs here. We've got some folks in the chat already tonight. First off, Nico, thank you for the $10 super chat, my friend. I appreciate that very much. Pizza Pals and the PWO giving me that holiday feeling. Hey, Piz. Thank you, Nico. Appreciate that. We've got Andy here with us tonight. We've got Future Dead Camper. We've got Eddie. We got El Chewy Gringo. We have got Gabe here. We got Adam NC. Got Jeffrey. Got Sam. Got my buddy Chris, Slasher Home Video. We got Lurch here. We got Dylan. We got Brian. We got another Brian. Got JoJo, Country Shape Media. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Dream Emulator. Matt, how you doing tonight, sir? So, if you want to jump on and say hello to Eric, ask him a question, wish him happy holidays, whatever. That link is now available to my patrons and channel members. Feel free to go ahead and jump on. If you want to jump in the green room, and I'll start bringing people on, and we'll just shoot the bull and have a good time. Spread some Christmas cheer. Yeah, we'll spread some Christmas cheer. What's up, Saturn? Got Riverman here. Got DJ. Got Horror Orman. What's up? Death Rattle just ordered a personalized poster from Eric the other day. Can't wait to receive it. Awesome. As a matter of fact, the link to Eric's website, it's right there at the bottom of the screen. It's also in the description. If you guys want to go ahead and get those last minute Eric Freeman items, they make the perfect stocking stuffers. So, all right, let me. There's Jilly in the chat. What's up, Jill? So here we go. Here is the man himself, Eric Freeman. How's it going, sir?
Okay. Thank you. Rush. I'm really rushed today. I was building a little house for my possum.
You've got a possum.
I've got a possum. He's blind and he's got mobility issues. I think he's got a bad paw and he's blind and he doesn't really know how to do possum stuff, So I was building him a house because it's rainy season, so not quite done. There's my possum story.
Well, I mean, look, I deal with possums here too. They one night I looked out and around the food bowl where I put food for the stray cats that like to come and visit. There was a stray cat on this side, a stray cat on this side, and a possum on this side, just waiting for there to be food. Then I think it was last winter, my mother put out an insulated like doghouse for the stray cat that just hangs out in the neighborhood that we've kind of claimed. And a possum took it over and it did not want to leave. So
yeah.
Some of did not want to be evicted.
No. Like some of them are. I got this one that's out here. I know he's not my guy, but he's. I call him the bandit because he looks like the Hamburglar with his mask. But he's aggressive. He's always out looking for food. He's not my guy's really timid and he's the nicest little guy in the world. But this other one is just like go away, and but because he eats my guy's food, and my guy only can come out at certain times. But anyhow, I get it. But I think they're cute, and I know people think they're big rats and whatever. But this guy's just adorable, and I feel for him because he can't. He can't climb a tree and hold on by his tail all night and be hidden out or whatever. He just he just does, he gets caught in the rain, or he thinks he's safe, but he's just under a thin little bush. And I said, well, if I can get him, but yeah, no, they're cool. I got this. Seems like when you put food out, you know what happens, Biz. So at the animal farm out there, but yeah.
And I mean, clearly you've got a big heart to help out this poor possum. So I mean, that's very kind of you. That's very big hearted of you. But yeah, it's hard to turn. See where I live, it's like a dumping ground. Like people, I don't know what it is. If people have animals that they don't want, they can't, provide for, it's like they dump them here, and it's the worst place because the road out near my house, it's like Pet Cemetery. I mean, it just it's like people, if they see an animal on that road, they speed up. I don't know. It's yeah. So, but yeah, it's hard to turn away a hungry animal,
Yeah.
So.
I know it's different in different parts, but I try to make up for my past sins, but I've always had affection for little animal. This guy he's in a bad way, but he, he circles around. He's blind. I mean, he's totally blind, so he circles around and around, looking for food. And I eventually have to just pick him up and put him by his little thing, and then he kind of circles around for 15 minutes after he's done to try to find his way back. And it's really, I just said, hey, look, let me make a thing, and maybe he'll, But anyhow, we'll get off that. But yeah, I think that's great that people have little dogs they love, and cats and horses, and I mean, they're beautiful. They're all smart. People that don't understand that, they're very, very bright. All of them are very bright, and they have senses that we don't. We've doled them out over the years, and they're just able to, you think about, like, how do they manage? How could I manage all night out in 40-degree weather or whatever, 30 or 30 below or whatever? But I wouldn't make it at all. I'm the biggest pussy in the world. But yeah, these guys are tough, and
they're tough. They're tough. Yeah. I forgot to do something. Every time we get a super chat, this is going to happen.
It's garbage day.
So there we go. And we just got another super chat in. So that one was for Nico. We got one from Dream Emulator here, my buddy Matt. Thank you for the $4.99. Always look forward to this stream. Thank you, Piz, for putting it on, and thank you, Mr. Freeman. May you and your possum have a very Merry Christmas. Cool. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Yes. To all the poor possums out there,
It's garbage day.
That one was for you, Matt. That one was for you. So earlier today, Eric, Jeremy and I actually did a live commentary for Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. And he definitely the rampage got him in the Christmas spirit. He loves he loves death. He's bloodlust. So he appreciates your work, as we all do, Eric. He appreciates your work.
Well, clearly he's not a hater. So
no.
I'll take the fans. But look, I'm glad. Hey, look, if I wasn't in it, I'd like that little rampage.
It's a good one. I mean, it's a good one. It's a good one. So I you're wearing a very nice shirt there.
Oh,
and there's a possibility that shirt might end up on your website for sale if enough people would like one. There's definitely a possibility that it might show up on the website. So if you want it's Eric Garbage Day holding garbage, and he's also got these magnets. Put these on your fridge, and you'll never forget when it's garbage day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this was a very nifty idea by Eric. You put that on your fridge, you'll never forget it's garbage day.
Yeah.
So
That was the plan. That was the
that
plan.
was the plan. That was the
And
plan.
somebody along the way in some convention, some lady said, "You know, I always throw that little garbage can in my husband's lap every Wednesday, to remind him." And I thought, well, why not remind everybody by having it on a fridge or something? So that was another zany idea I had. So I give those out when I'm in the con. I just, if people buy something, just give them one of those. But yeah, this is just a kind of takeoff on that. It's just the image itself, but it's different, and I think it's stupid enough to work. So yeah.
I mean, it's it's unique. It's different. Biggie Fitz says my grandparents raised an orphan raccoon when I was a kid. He got huge and thought he was one of the dogs. Good. Hey, your grandparents are good people. That's for sure. We got Jeff in the chat tonight. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, Jeff.
We got Ash in the chat tonight. She says, "I promise I've been good, Eric. I swear," but she's lying. So she,
I think the ladies can get away with that. Sure.
ladies can get away with more, right?
Why
They
not?
can get away with a little more.
Just lie. That's fine.
Oh gosh. So I know you recently speaking of conventions, you recently were at a convention in Arizona, you and your big screen big brother, Robert Brian Wilson. How did that go?
Well, pretty good considering, the economy wise and people probably saving for Christmas and stuff, and pretty good. The organizational aspect of that con was top tier. I couldn't believe how the man and wife team on that were ex-military, so everything right down to the little things. We were informed on every little part of the morning or afternoon, or where anything was, if we needed to eat, or where, or what would you like for lunch, or trust me, these are things that never occur to any of the promoters, like, hey, they may need to eat or something. But they were really just organized, and all the helpers, all of them were very boned up on how all of it works, and I was very impressed on the logistics of that, and how everybody was like a smooth, like a Swiss watch. And so I was really pleased with all that. You couldn't have had a better run con for me, and I haven't done a ton. It's not like I'm some expert, but the ones I've done, that was by far the best. I mean, catering to us,
What was the name of the con again?
It was called A Christmas to Dismember.
Mm.
They have a normal horror site and a place to buy. I think it's called Terror Trader. Terror Trader is their day in and day out business, and they getting into the con business. I think this might have been their second one, perhaps. But yeah, all in all, in a better economy, it would have been huge. But it was all right. It was all right.
And I mean, that's whenever there's a convention, that's why I wanted you to kind of shout them out when they're really organized, like they've taken that extra effort to be really super tight, to run a tight ship. I think they deserve a little extra, because I've been to conventions where it's just like it's a free for all. It's like they just open the doors, and you got to figure it out yourself. And if you ask a volunteer or anybody who's wearing like a staff shirt, their response is, I don't know. Where's this? I don't know.
Yeah.
So
they went even further at the very end. They gave us all like this swag bag of all sorts of goodies in a bag, everything, to candy canes filled with Reese's peanut butter cups to, I mean, just all these little this and little that, just tchotchkes and all this stuff. So I was like, wow, you didn't have to do that. But they also had a dossier, if you will, for like our handler that would deal with the money, the handler at my table, they had a dossier on each actor, from Felissa and Andrew Divoff and Mark and all, excuse me, Brian, and all these folks. They would basically like what they did and what this is about, and kind of like for the handler to be boned up on who the heck they're handling. It was like a 3-ring binder on this, so it was really, wow.
That's really smart. That's really smart. I mean, that's really smart because I mean, like you think, I mean, I've been to conventions too. I've been to conventions too, where like you can tell the handler has no clue who they're sitting next to, so they're just like, just some guy, you know what I mean, or some woman, I don't know. So that's I mean, they were running a tight ship. I'm liking them.
Yeah, that was good.
We've got a super chat here from Taco Bailey Lugosi. Thank you for the $1.99. It's Sunday and tomorrow is our garbage day. All right. Very cool. Thank you very much for that, Taco Bailey Lugosi.
It's garbage day.
There's your garbage day. Taco Bailey Lugosi. And my good buddy Gabe is here tonight. What's up, Gabe? Thank you for the $4.99. My Christmas season is now complete. Thanks for being a part of my holiday traditions, Eric.
It's very kind.
And you gave Gabe a shout out last year during our stream, and I know it really made Gabe's entire Christmas season. Would you mind giving Gabe another shout out this year?
No, I wanted to do it earlier because he came on the scroll at the beginning. Gabe's, look, he's one of your like guys from way back, and he's always been nice to me, always cool. And Gabe, too cool. I appreciate it. I noticed that right off the bat. I said, hey, I'm gonna let him know. So that appreciate it, Gabe, and that was really kind of you to help his out. Yeah, no, that reminds me because Patreon, PayPal just unlocked all this money they had basically put anything I made on the site, they locked it up and to hold on to it as ransom until I complied with the IRS business, the $600 business. Yeah, and it's funny because you told me the other day that your lady had said, hey, they're not gonna make us comply with the $600 worth of business this year, and sure enough, PayPal had notified me, via email saying, "Hey, we're not going to make you comply this year, and your funds are now been released." And so, yeah. I mean, man, what a! I was just going to let it go and pile up. Like, I don't care. You want to hold on to the money, fine. I mean, I can't stop you. So I just didn't want to. I don't want to fight the IRS on a poster. And what does a poster cost me versus what it ends up at their door? And I like doing it. I do it because it's fun. It's personalized. It's not a money maker. So I'm going to fight all this. I say just keep it. So hooray that we aren't under the jackbooted thugs of the IRS for one more year. So.
Yeah. Thank goodness. Well, it's speaking of a poster. Poison Ivy says they said they got an 11 by 14 poster that you signed, and they love
like
it.
That. Yeah, 11 by 17. Yeah, they're smaller. They're cool. They're small enough that they're not too obtrusive on someone's wall or wherever in their room and their dungeon. And it's those are good posters. I'm glad I got them back in the day because they just went to stratosphere now, but quality's good. But thanks.
And that was how hold on, let me get this. Gabe, this is for you.
It's garbage day.
Yes, it is. So that's actually how it and I've tried to remember, because there was a viewer of mine who messaged me one day and said, hey, Eric Freeman is selling autographed posters on eBay. You got to go get one. And that is how we kind of became friends. So I don't remember who. I think I remember, but I don't want to like make a mistake. But I mean, that's kind of how we ended up, getting in touch and, becoming friends. So, yeah, I
No,
remember that vividly. And I've still got the poster right there on the wall. So
I remember a video you did way back in the day. That's how I saw you, because you were very kind to me in the regard of reviewing that movie. You weren't too harsh, but you were unboxing a shirt. And
yes.
I remember that, and I said, "Hey, thanks for being cool." And
Yeah.
but that was a ways back.
Yeah, you commented on that video. That's right. Yeah, that was actually the shirt I was wearing today with Jeremy during the SNDN2 commentary. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, we were going back some, but
it was the classic garbage day shirt.
yes.
Yeah.
I have it. It's good.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And what's funny is, like, I'll wear that in videos and people will go, "Where did you get that? Where can I get one?" And I'm like, they're not the Fright Rags. They're not, request a reprint, I guess. So, you can't have mine though. You can't have mine. So I don't wash it because I'm afraid that it's going to shrink, and it stinks. It stinks real bad.
Yeah, but you're running the risk. Things happen in the washer.
They do. They do. You never know what's going to happen. So you never know what's going to happen. Oh, Lord have mercy. Go Seek Find has a question. Eric, did you imagine when you said that line, it would become so iconic?
No. I had this. You'd like to say I had a script back then, right? Back in the 80s, I had a script. I had pages of out of context script, if you will, that was because it was interspersed, intermingled with the original. But I remember seeing that line, and quite frankly, I wanted to do it. I had thought, well, and maybe I've spoken on this before, and I apologize if I have, but I wanted to do it in a Eastwood style, low key, almost to myself, kind of a quiet garbage day, but everything else that led up to it, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. So I don't know what someone say, "Hey, what did you think it's going to be?" Something. I not only did I not think it's going to be something, I just threw that line away. Just like, well, we're going to do this a few times. I was on other shows and seen other stuff, and I did other things prior, so I kind of thought we'd do it a few times.
You got one take, and that was it.
No, yeah, and I don't know. But thanks for asking. I guess growing up was the best thing I could have done. So thank you.
We've got Phil in the chat here. He says, "Merry Christmas, guys. It's garbage day." Thank you, Phil. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Dave says, "Hey, Eric, I'm a huge fan. Have you ever had plans for a horror hound convention near Ohio?"
The answer is, and Piss, haven't I done a horror hound?
You did a horror hound in Columbus, Ohio, 4 or 5 years ago, something like that, maybe.
It was
one of your first big conventions.
That's why I was scared out of my pants. I was pooping in my pants, and you said, "Don't worry, Eric. You won't be the Maytag man. That you'll actually be busy." And I was like, "No, they won't. I'm going to be, twiddling my thumbs." And sure enough, that was big. That was a Texas Frightmare big. That was big. So would I do that again? I'd love to. It all depends on what I've got no say in it. It's like being an actor. Like, do they want me? Can Dominic, my manager guy that really manages Robert Bryan, can he get me in? Am I worthy? I have no say at all in any of this. I can't really contact him and say, "Hey, I'm Eric, I'm Ricky, get me in there." And so it doesn't work that way at all.
The best thing that you can do is contact them and let them know. Like if there's a convention in your area that you would like Eric to come to, message them on social media or through their website and say, hey, we want Eric Freeman at our show. And um, I'm sure they know Dominic, who's Eric's manager, who's been on the channel before. Nice guy. Handles a lot of great people, including Robert Ryan Wilson. I'm sure they know him, and they'll put the call in and get Eric there. So, but you gotta, let them know that you want Eric at your chosen convention, and that's how you let them know. Have you got any conventions upcoming booked that you're aware of?
No, I sadly no. I think I'm going to do one and done this year, and which I'm glad to get one, but I know that works, what you just said, and you're right. When I got to the hotel for this convention in Arizona, I was getting into the elevator with the owners of they're running the con, the man and wife team. And the doors open and the guy says, Eric. And I said, hey. And he says, it's Jason. I said, yes, it is. And I didn't know him. But he goes, there's a lot of people asking about you. And I said, he goes, we run the cons. He finally said, I said, oh, I said, they're not asking for me. Because no, they are. And the wife said they did. So I guess it matters. I guess like one person asking is maybe like, there's some sort of mathematics on it, but like one person asks, it means something. It's like 50 people are asking. So it does work.
Yeah. I think they look at it like, if one person has the nerve to actually ask, well, then there's probably more who, there's probably more out there too. So yeah, just, message them, email them, let them know. And that's how you make it happen. We've got Jess in the chat tonight. Good evening and Merry Christmas, Piz and Eric. Thank you. Same to you. Same to you. Dice Roland says, thanks to Mr. Freeman for, as I said in my review, being one of the most well-adjusted B horror actors. Well-adjusted? You don't know Eric at all. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's better than a heroin needle in the arm, or laying in a ditch somewhere. Oh, Caldwell. But no, well adjusted. Yeah, considering my past, making little homes for possums is good. So that was nice. Yeah, you never know where you can go being a has-been. So
Oh, no, hush.
But,
That's something Jeremy says. Oh, hush.
Oh, hush. I love that.
Yeah.
He would say that.
Frightful Night Media says, I'm definitely getting one of those full-size posters from Eric's side as soon as I recover from Christmas. Haha.
That's nice.
Yes, hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying the stream and you're watching on YouTube. Please hit that thumbs up button. We've got Ash says, the ultimate review of SNDN Part 2. It made cranky Jeremy Pip right up. That's right. Jeremy was very cranky today for some reason during the live commentary. I think he was channeling Ricky a little bit. He was a little cranky.
So that was already aired. You already put that out there.
Yeah. That we streamed that this afternoon. So yeah, he was a little cranky. I'm not. He must have just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I don't know. He turned down pizza.
Wow.
He turned down Chicago style deep dish pizza, and he was just not having it. Just not having it at all. But once the rampage kicked in, he perked right up. So
good.
Yeah. Dave is asked a very in-depth question here. I see we've got a super chat here. Hold on a second. Where'd that go? Harley, thank you for the $20 super chat. That's very kind of you. Hi, thanks for all what you do, guys. Put this towards some building material for the Possum. Merry Christmas, you all. Well, thank you, Harley Max 01. And I see you've got, is that a boxer in your profile picture? It looks like a boxer. I love boxers.
Hey, Harley, go to my website and get my email thing. Email me. I'll send you a magnet because that was really kind of you. That's a lot of money, and I'll send you something. Just go to my website and do what you need to do. Just get a hold of me email wise, and give me your address, and I'll send you a little thing, something. Because
Very
that's really,
kind of you.
really cool. That's really
Yeah.
nice.
So Harley, this is for you.
It's garbage day.
You know what, Harley?
It's garbage day.
You got two. You got 2 garbage days. But thank you for that. Very kind of you, sir. We got Francis Chainsaw Grimp in the chat. It's not Christmas till it's garbage day. That's very true. Yeah, Gabe, you definitely, next time Eric's at a convention, you definitely need to meet him. Yeah. Just trying to catch up with the chat here. No, Eric's never done a Mad Monster Party, but that would be great if he did. That'd be all the way in. Well, they have one in North Carolina and one in Arizona. So, yeah.
Cool.
And they're very I've been to 2 or 3, the ones that they've done in North Carolina, and very tight, very well organized. So GalaxyCon and Rally would be a great con to see you, Eric. Yes, definitely reach out to him and let him know. Let him know. Oh, we were talking about Speak of the Devil, and Don Mancini will appear. Don Mancini, Dominic Mancini. I'm sorry, I'm talking about the Child's Play dude. Dominic, how you doing, man? His ears were ringing. He knew we were talking about him. So,
yeah, no, he's something. Really, what a nice guy. So, I mean, to be in business like that, but be so kind to all his people. I mean, I'm just one of a. He's got several real stars, that show up there, and I met Andrew Divoff, which you've interviewed, and boy, what an interesting man! Knows 8 languages, and he's got a what do you call it? He's a brewer of beer, and I think he just sold his business. But I mean, this guy is just, I mean, he'll drink a sip of some exotic beer and he'll know exactly what it's made of. This guy's palate is like a computer. He's just a very fascinating guy. Very, he says, "Well, I'm learning Latin." He was talking to me while he was sipping a drink and telling me about his new language, and it's like, wow, man, this guy doesn't stop. So he's impressive as hell.
Yeah, he was very, very, very cool when I had him on the channel, and very nice guy, very smart guy, very, very cool guy, and one of Jeremy's favorites. Jeremy loves the Wishmaster, so the Wishmaster. It's always good to know, like the the people that you've admired in film or television or whatever, when you some of them are actually pretty nice people,
Yeah.
So Dave wants to know, Eric, you're still looking in great shape. What's your diet and workout routine looking like these days?
Same as it always is. I get simple, very primitive diet, usually brown rice and chicken, sometimes beef. I like beef. It makes me feel good.
Tuna
if I have to. Yes, the tuna. When tuna's the best thing, if you got nothing and it's tuna's there, you do it. Yeah, and I bring a lot of tuna to the conventions. You wouldn't believe what my suitcase is. It isn't clothes I'll freeze before food first. So tuna, fish, 12 cans, a bunch of brown rice, a hot plate. I'm not going to suffer. This last one, as I mentioned, they were really actually concerned about the people eating. So, but normally you have to. And by the time you get done with the con and this and that, these restaurants are closed, or you have to take a Uber or taxi out to find a place. And it's not really, I don't do a lot of eating out because I guess you can get away with a lot of that when you're 20 or 30, but you gotta kind of. I know that I could. There's some German in me. I could be big, I suppose. So I, you know, I don't
So
know.
it's pretty brown rice, chicken, beef, tuna, you know what I mean? Not a lot of fast food because that's not great. So it's
No,
pretty clean, right?
pretty clean. Very, yeah, discipline. I think more of it. I think a lot. I think the diet, and then if you like to throw weights around or exercise, whatever you like to do, but it's consistency in that. It's all that weightlifting or anything else can do for you is stimulate growth at best. All you're doing is possibly stimulating growth, but the rest of it is the real world. It's what we do outside of that that will make or break you. So there's where you got to be a little smarter. I just don't eat brown, right? I'll I either like chlorella or I like spirulina. I like green things. I take I take something called Intermax, but I do a lot of smart stuff that I'm going to get the minerals and the chelated minerals, the colloidal minerals, the B vitamins, the essential fatty acids. I kind of want to. I broke years ago. I broke down in the early '90s, and so my job is kind of like to patch up Humpty Dumpty, and see if I can make it more years. And so I'm trying to get back something that I had. So it's a little bit different, but I don't vary. I don't cheat too much. But we were together, Piz, a few months ago, and when you were out in LA, and we had Fat Burger. It was
Fat burger. Yes, we did.
a fat burger.
It was indeed a fat burger. Yes, yes.
God, it was like way heavy.
Yes, yes. They certainly it's properly named. It's a fat, thick burger, you know.
Yeah.
But I think but I mean too, when when you eat clean and you've kind of conditioned your body to have a fast metabolism and to whatnot, you can cheat more because I mean it's like your body's like, oh, okay, little extra, you know little extras, not bad, treat yourself occasionally, cheat meal here and there is not going to kill you. But I think what you said it best though, right? Consistency.
Yeah, no, and if I would have been easier on myself back in the day in the 80s into the 90s, instead of literally eating tuna fish and brown rice, I mean, really Spartan, really, I kind of was starving myself, and and that's what my problem was. So in essence, you're right. These cheat meal, I should have been easier on myself back in the day, a variety of different nutrients and instead of so tight with it. I just felt that I was in a little niche where I wasn't going to get a lot of work anyhow. I was in that niche where they were looking for a certain, what young actors would get, these small roles. I wanted to be ready. I wanted to be ready. I didn't want to be off in case opportunity arose. So in that respect, I drove myself into I dug a big pit and jumped in. So I think you're right. You're right. Exactly. It should have been less hard on myself, and that would have been smarter. So enjoy the holidays and do some grazing if you want to, folks. So.
Well, you mentioned spirulina. I've recently added spirulina to my intake. So
yeah, and chlorella. I think I like chlorella better. I buy it in big powder, like pounds of it. It's cheaper anyhow, but people like capsules and stuff, and it's just costly. I just throw it into shakes and stuff. I like whey protein from. I go to Z Natural out of Florida. It's a Z Natural Foods, great site. But I buy their whey, and I add that in. Oh boy, do they got it? They got this dark chocolate whey. It's, I think, sweetened with stevia a little bit, but it is ambrosia. I mean, as far as whey protein, and theirs is the best. And then it's like sweetened. Oh, look, a banana and that whey in a blender, and you can't do better. You can't, and it's so simple. So, and it's just like, wow, this is pleasure, and it's good for you. So,
are you familiar with Rise, RYZE, that brand?
I heard of it only. That's it.
I recently got a tub of it. It's cinnamon toast crunch flavored, and it tastes just like I just put it in water. It tastes just like cinnamon toast crunch. It's so good. But what I like about it is it's got whey protein isolate and whey protein concentrate in it, so you get the best of both. It's not cheap, and like it comes in this huge tub, but then when you open it, you're like, well, it's only half full.
Yeah.
Like, so but it's it tastes just like freaking cinnamon toast crunch.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do they say? Settling may occur.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got my buddy Horror Collections 13 in the chat tonight. How you doing, sir? Hope you're having a good Sunday night. Harley has confirmed that is a boxer in his profile photo. Ash says Eric is instantly a likable guy, warm and welcoming. Yes, he is.
Very kind.
Let's see. Oh, we've got Alex. Thank you for being a channel member for 14 months. Man, I have my Eric Freeman autograph behind glass. As you should. You should protect
keep
that
thing. Keep it out of the sunlight, and because it's that important.
Yeah. Yes. Keep it out of direct sunlight, and oh, here we go. Dominic says we will have some cons on the books soon. All events are booking for 2024. Eric likes the hotel next to an Arby's, FYI. Oh, he's giving some inside information on you, Eric.
Oh yeah, no, the Arby's.
They have the meats,
Yeah, there's an inside joke to that one. Trust me.
It's
beyond crude.
Okay. All right.
I would love to divulge that Arby's.
You'll have to tell me off the air.
Yeah, it's woo.
a bad experience at Arby's that can ruin your whole weekend.
It'll give you a kind of a different thought of Arby's. But I do like hotels that are near things. This last one, I must say, I was under the impression that the actual convention was about 2 miles from the hotel, and it was 50 yards. So it was so great. I didn't have to go anywhere. I was just like walk down some cobblestones, and we're on. And but that was unbelievable. That was just I'm surprised it didn't do better, and I could only think that we're suffering under we're suffering under this guy. So
the economy's not good. On top of that, it's the holidays. So I mean, people are, they just have a little less disposable income, and they got to get those gifts. Got to get those gifts. So, and speaking of gifts, theericfreeman.com. That's THEE ericfreeman.com.
It is. I think the guy that was ericfreeman.com, I think he's no more. I went and put ericfreeman.com in and nothing, and I thought maybe I can snag that now. I'm not sure. Or maybe someone else will snag it and sell it to me for $200. Who knows? But maybe I shouldn't have said anything. But I don't know. The Eric Freeman. But you can just put Eric Freeman in Google, and I'll be right up on top, which is just fascinating to me because there's no Eric Freeman that's more important, but apparently not.
There's only one Eric Freeman in our book,
Yeah,
in our
yeah.
books, our collective books.
Well,
Let's see here. Jojo Rice says, "Hey Eric, what was your favorite scene to film in Silent Night, Deadly Night 2?"
and I've said it before, and I hate to be boring or some. No, but I like the night scene, the umbrella scene with Frank Novak and Lenny Rose. That Lenny was getting beaten up in the alley by Frank Novak, and I knew Frank. I knew Big Frank because we would bump into each other on auditions all over town, and he was a big, solid guy, and he'd be my uncle or my father or sometimes older brother. In something it was something to do with Vietnam. He was my older brother in some audition, and so I would bump into Frank. And so when I came to that Sierra Madre, Pasadena area late night, I met Frank. I said, Frank, and he's the man. It's his scene, really. I just kind of crashed it, but yeah. And that was my favorite scene. He was strong, and I mentioned this before in some introduction I did over in England they just showed my film over there, and called the Knott's Bad Movie Club in Nottingham, England. And Knott's wanted an intro, but I had said that Frank kept knocking me off my marks. And the beginning of that, Frank pulls out a handkerchief, he's wiping off his face, and he's walking toward me. And it's at that point, and I was maybe 200 pounds, and he was 240, 250, but he had a steam walking toward me, and he's kind of a tank, and he kept knocking me off my feet or off my marks. I said, Frank, man, come on, this is acting, right? Not like I would know, but I thought, let me. So he just said, hey, look, this is my character, So I thought of putting my shoulder into it a little bit. So if you watch that scene a little closer, you'll notice I kind of I meet force with force on that scene just to stop him. And because he wasn't going to accommodate me, and it wasn't that it wasn't like he was selfish or anything. It's just that he wanted it to look real, in a sense, like, he's not going to hold back. So, steady yourself, young man, kind of thing. And so I did, but and then he gets what he's got coming. So
when that scene popped up this afternoon, I was like, Jeremy, what's Eric going to do with that umbrella? He's like, stick it in his eye, stab him in the eye. Like he was waiting for you to stab Lenny in the eye.
Yeah,
so.
it'd be good. Yeah. No, there were more entrails on when that thing goes through the umbrella. The tip of it had a bunch of intestines on it, way more than you see in the movie. But the standards and practices, people were aghast at the horror of it, and they're pulling off sausage links off that, and so it was less gory. So, but all in all, yeah, Frank was a real player on that. He stood up on an apple box, and he made it look like it did, which was excellent for a cheesy, low cost scene. He pulled it off, and I think that was my favorite. Besides, and I'm not as Caldwell-ish in that scene, so I like that scene. It's tolerable to me. So, so yeah.
Okay, I hear you. Elaine Pham brings up Murder Weapon. Did you have fun? Did you have a fun time on the set of Murder Weapon with Linnea Quigley?
Yeah, no, she was a producer on that with David Dakota, and there was a few scenes we were talking back and forth by poolside. Our feet were in the pool, and we had some chat there, and had some other stuff when she introduces herself. She's in when Linnea's first in that movie where we're at, while the guys are out talking in the patio or something, she shows up in a fishnet stocking where things are just revealing themselves, and we're going, wow. And then I'm talking to her by the pool, and then we had this thing in the garage. And so yeah, she's nice. She was all business, of course. She was, established actress and done a lot of things. So we did our business. I just had I was just trying to keep up with what was asked of me, in the sense of David Dakota was very just shoot it and go, shoot it and go. He was the ultimate. He was beyond Lee Harry in Silent Night, but he was set up and go, set up and go, set up and go. It was all like, looking at his watch. But I said, look, I work a little different, David. I need to kind of know what we're going to do. And so David said, okay, well, get familiar with page 3 through 9 and 17 through 25. And so he kind of told me the areas of the script to be familiar with, because bing, 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 and so the poolside stuff, there was a lot of back and forth, and I was trying, you're just like cramming, for your bit of business there. And so I hope I did okay in that. And it was a pretty terrible movie, really, but I had my parts in it, and I think I did okay. I saved myself a little in the car scene with Linnea. I was supposed to make out with her and then, ejaculate in my shorts. And I didn't think that was wise. So I kind of said, David,
I'm not comfortable with this scene, David.
Yeah. So
I'm surprised he let you change it, because David Dakota, for those of you who don't know, David Dakota's probably making 3 movies at the same time right now. He makes like 30 movies a year. Or he used to at one point. He would churn them out, and he would get a lot of work because he could make a movie under a certain budget on a certain schedule, and it'd be a full movie. It may not be great, but here's your movie, delivered on time and under budget sometimes. So
yeah,
if you can do that, you're going to get a lot of work.
Yeah, you're under budget's right. That's why they love him in Canada. He shoots a lot in Canada. A lot of these TV shows in Canada for the actual Canadian broadcasting and all that. But because he comes in under budget, or gets it in the can, as they say, early or on time, they love him. They don't care that he's not scrutinizing scripts. He's not getting the best out of the actors. He's not refining and honing a script the night before. He is not, and he's just whatever's on the page, I'm shooting it, and we're moving on. And yeah. God love him.
You get 1 take, 2 takes? How many takes do you get?
You get 1. Look, I'm not BSing you. I remember a scene I was in that that movie, Murder Weapon. And it was there was a bunch of guys around me. It's back and forth and this and that. And someone says, someone's giving me crap about, I said, I had a line, something like, what kind of music is it? And some guy goes, it's chamber music, you idiot. And he said, it's whatever. It's heavy metal, or he retorts back. But there was some scene in there that day at that time where the guy went up on his lines. The guy was having a dialogue with where he just went blank. And I covered for him. I remembered what he was going to say. And so I said, I know what you're thinking, blah, blah, blah. And I gave him his line back to him so he could get him started again, kind of like start the motor again. Mm-hmm. And we did this. It was kind of extemporaneous. And it's what you just don't want dead air. When he goes up on his lines, you can kind of see the look on someone's face. You come up with something. Mm-hmm. And so I kept it moving, and then cut. And then I said, well, David, we're shooting that again, right? He says, no, I'll cut to something else. And I said, cut to what? There's nothing to cut. And, so I just like, what's he going to do? David would probably go off, and all of a sudden there'd be like, someone getting hit with a bullet and for no reason in our scene. It's just that so he didn't care. It's like, I'll cut to something else. It reminded me of Ed Wood, where the guy comes in and slams the door and the whole wall moves, the studio. And they said, well, we can't have that. Let's shoot it over. He goes, no, that would happen in real life. And so, yeah, no, David was no frills. I don't care what happened. If the mic falls down, makes a noise, a thud, we'll just, we'll cut to something else. So, and I can appreciate it. He made good money from these kinds of movies. He put a lot of TNA and the stuff back in the early days, and he always said, "Well, I kind of, my audience is a lot of young boys, and the parents will let them watch a horror film, and they'll leave the house at night, and the kids will watch a horror film, but they're really getting X-rated sex. See, they're getting their sex and the naked girls." So he knew what he was doing. And anyhow, murder weapon.
Yeah. We've got a super chat here from Arthur on the Rocks. Thank you for the $6. An early Merry Christmas and a happy garbage day to all. Cheers. Well, thank you, Arthur. Appreciate that very much, sir. And this is for you.
It's garbage day.
You can tell Jeremy did not know about that gun. He was like, Yeah. So. Oh, goodness gracious. Rizami's in the chat. She says we need more Eric YouTube videos.
Yeah, I know. I need to do more content.
Eric, you have so much wisdom when it comes to healthy living and working out and whatnot. I mean, that's something that that's very useful information. You're a guitar guy. You're one of your most popular videos on your channel is about the washer motor, how to fix a washer motor. And I mean, it's just like, you know how to, you're a jack of all trades over there.
God, I wish I knew the secret to that one. I just was fixing a washer, and the last minute I said, hey, wait a minute, someone's going to have this problem. Somebody's going to have this problem, and they're not going to know what to do because I didn't know what to do, and I had to figure it out, and that sucked. And so I was sitting up on my counter. I said, okay, well, this isn't right, but let me just go. And I just said, hey, look at this and look at this and look at this, and this is how this works. I'm more interested in letting people know how something works on it, and don't be scared of this, because you're either going to junk this appliance if it doesn't work, or you're going to call a guy up and he's going to charge you hundreds of dollars for a $100 washer, and don't be scared. I guess it's the don't be scared video. And but yeah, who would know? I mean, it would be nice if I was a 20-year-old girl, in a tight bra doing the thing. I'd probably have 3 million video hits. But in the respect of that, I've helped people, though, that I must say that people once a week say, wow, your video, because there's something, believe it or not, in washers, you can suck a little like sock, like your baby little sock. A baby sock can be pulled into the washer. It can, you have your bin where the clothes go, but if you have a full load or something, somehow a baby sock can go above the bin over, and it slips in there, and it goes down and gets jammed up into the water pump. And I mean, your whole thing will stop for a sock or a bra strap or the whole, it's just jammed. It's like throwing a wrench in a gear, and it just stops, and then people don't know what to do. And I kind of explain, like, it could be this, could be this, could be this, and so it's enough of that. Other than to say that these how-to videos are great. I mean, look, what would we do without YouTube? I use it all the time. Like, hey, so and so, and but yeah, it comes in handy. So.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, you got a lot of wisdom that you can share. You know what I mean? You've helped a lot of people with knowing nutrition and supplementation. I mean, you were telling me about this fella you helped, you met at a convention, and he brought you a thank you guitar. He was like, here's a guitar, thank you for helping me. So
he did. It's cost me more money getting it back than its value. Kept trying to give it back. Please take it back. But you can't do that. But it was very kind of him. Yeah, peripheral neuropathy. But I must say, you can add in nitric oxide lozenges. Here's a little, you've always, maybe some of you have heard of sodium nitrates and sodium nitrites. They're sometimes used to preserve meats and stuff, and that isn't always good. But sodium nitrite in a lozenge that you put in your mouth can raise nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is very good. It's for circulation of the body. And a brief thing just to divert, but the back of your tongue is where dietary nitrates like beetroots or spinach or chard or other green leafies, but beetroot in particular, beetroot powder. The point is when you mix up some beetroot powder in water and you drink it slowly, you're bathing the back of your tongue with dietary nitrates. And these dietary nitrates convert to nitric oxide right there at the back of the tongue. It's not like you just slam it down and it goes to your gut, and that doesn't do you well. That's why you sip it slowly. It bathes the back of the tongue. That's where nitric oxide is made. And that's a gas that we make a lot of when we're 20 and 30, but as we age, we make less of this gas. And that gas is what dilates your arteries and your vascular system. It lets blood flow freely. And I only am diverting to say that there's nitric oxide lozenges, and it's not to be confused with beetroot and this and that, but they take sodium nitrate, and it's a chemical, but it's okay. It's food grade. But when you add it in a nice lozenge with some beetroot powder, they've got these lozenges, and they're very expensive. They're like $80 for 60 of them. But I'm actually thinking of making my own little lozenges, because you can make them probably 100 of them for $3, and sodium nitrite and some beetroot powder, and be a little chemist. But I'm thinking, because that way you're getting the sodium nitrate hitting the back of the tongue. That's why you suck on it, this lozenge, and then it converts to nitric oxide. And you can do the same with using beetroot powder or eating things with nitrates in them. And that's why someone would always say, or many people over the decades, chew your food slowly, because nitrates can bathe the back of the tongue area, and that's where nitric oxide is made naturally in the body. And it might be interesting to some of you, just to end this, that some of you might be interested in older movies, or like the movies from the 30s or 40s, and you'd always see some older guy that's kind of a sickly guy in the movie, and the wife said, "Did you take your pills, Harry?" Or he always grabs for his nitroglycerin tablets, and he takes the nitroglycerin tablets because an episode's coming on. He's having a heart attack, right? And he takes his nitroglycerin tablets, and all of a sudden he lies down, but he's okay in 20 minutes or 10 minutes. Is because it's the same principle. Nitroglycerin, which was the basis of making dynamite, but in small amounts, this nitroglycerin, because you put these pills in your mouth, would help convert to nitric oxide. It would open up the vascular system around the heart, and the heart, you wouldn't have the heart attack. That all of a sudden blood would flow. Generally, you find when people have high blood pressure, if you want to lower your high blood pressure, magnesium and dietary nitrates or nitric oxide lozenges. And I didn't mean to get off on that, other than to say that people have blood pressure issues. It harms the heart. It harms the kidneys. You can have strokes and mini strokes, and you can have all sorts of negative things happen to you. And you can avert that by dietary nitrates like beetroot powder or lozenges or both, and open up your vascular system. It's like dilation of the arteries. All of a sudden blood can flow freely. The blood pressure drops. There's no more high pressure of blood going into the kidneys, so you don't damage those. The heart doesn't beat as hard, and it can slow down. And so there's wonderful things happening by raising your nitric oxide levels. And of course, it has everything to do with sex and getting an erection, because that's what it's all about. And nitric oxide, and of course, women benefit from that too in those areas of the body. So it's a wonderful, wonderful molecule that you can build it in your body. People just don't know, and that's really an unknown little area. And I'm sorry I got into that, other than to say I know I can save people by mentioning that. In the regard of blood pressure, your parents got a problem, you got a problem, and how do you lower that? Magnesium glycinate, and raise your nitric oxide. So sorry about.
No, make sure it's magnesium glycinate, because a lot of magnesium supplements are like magnesium oxide, or there's another magnesium. Make sure it's glycinate. Glycinate's the most bioavailable, and it's the best one. Like magnesium oxide is like that's they put that in like Imodium. That's like a that's like you're gonna poop. That's what I'm trying to say.
You're so wise. And yes, magnesium glycinate is gentlest on the system. It's the most bioavailable. It works the best. Citrate is in enemas. Oxide is in enemas, and those you're going to be strapped to the toilet. And you want to take like 400 milligrams a day. Magnesium is so essential. 600 biochemical reactions, 300 enzyme systems, all need magnesium. Magnesium's needed for vitamin D absorption. Magnesium's needed for everything. It's a relaxer. It's a relaxer. It'll make your muscles relax. It'll make you feel better. It'll make you sleep better. Magnesium, I'd say 400 to 600 milligrams a day of magnesium glycinate. That's not a lot. That's like 4 or 5 capsules. Spread it out throughout the day. Wonderful. Magnesium alone will drop high blood pressure. High blood pressure is just constriction of your arteries, which are smooth muscle is around the arteries. That's the arteries take the blood away from the heart. Smooth muscle is around those arteries. And that muscle clamps down and constricts and gets tiny. And then the heart has to beat so hard to get blood through a smaller orifice. So if we can dilate it with nitric oxide, dilate it with magnesium, whew, and that's the tip of the day. I'm sorry, but that was worth saying. I know I'm taking you off the call. Well, we'll get right back into Ricky, but that is I'm just fascinated by this stuff, and that in particular. I've had peripheral neuropathy is how we got there. The guy that gave me the guitar, I was just saying to this guy, another thing we need to create nitric oxide levels higher in him. He's got peripheral neuropathy, and there's many nutrients you need to reverse it. But also nitric oxide needs to be raised, because people with peripheral neuropathy have very low nitric oxide. And by the way, there is a little test strips you can buy dirt cheap, and you put a little bit of saliva on the end of this little test strip, and you can put it next to the outside of the bottle, and it's got a gauge between low and high. And for pennies, I should say probably 50 cents a test, you can test your nitric oxide levels. Doctors should know this, but doctors don't know this. Doctors don't know a lot. They memorize what drugs to give you to cover up your symptoms. I'm talking about getting to root causes. You can get nitric oxide test strips and test your nitric oxide. And if it's low, you'll be like pale pink, dark pink, and red is where you want to be. Red. If you're padded, when your test hits red, man, your nitric oxide is high and preferred, which means chances are you're gonna have going to be able to function sexually very well, and you're going to have great circulation down to your toes, to your nose, to your ears. In these cold air climates, you'll know. And who wouldn't benefit from great circulation? And it drops your blood pressure real low, like 110/70. So anyhow, I'm killing you. I'm sorry. People are like, shut up, Eric. I'm fascinated by this, because I had just helped someone, neighbor, an old guy that can barely walk. His circulation, he smokes, and I just said, "Hey, man, you lozenges," and he's got them. He thinks I'm God, and I'm not. I'm just saying, hey.
But see, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't know this information. So I mean, you're doing the Lord's work.
I don't know.
Jeff, yes, I have been losing some weight. I've been on my own little journey, so to speak. So, Working
he's
out.
lifting weights. He's pumping iron too. You got your thing going, and
Mhm.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Horror Collection's 13. He pumps some iron himself. He's in pretty good shape. I met him when I was out in California. Do you guys like protein bars? Are you a fan of protein bars, Eric?
Yeah, it all depends. There's so much in them. You know, Piz, what I mean? They just seem that they'll put pea protein, rice protein, whey protein isolate, and all of a sudden it's I don't know, just like everything's in a big cauldron and they're stirring it up and um I don't know. I like these Kind bars, Kind bars. The dark chocolate and peanut one. It's a good. It's good. It's not sweet. Some of these things are ungodly, you know. But I agree that it can be a meal, and they're
Mhm.
great. Look, if I'm stuck somewhere, I'll go for that any day, anything, you know, rather than your stomach eating itself. But um, yeah, no, I agree. I just need to find ones that don't have. I have a lot of sensitivities to a lot of if there's too much stuff. I like simplicity with the foods I eat because I wish I could be like most people. Most people can handle many things. They can handle 4 or 5 different protein powders in a little bar and some fructose and some this and I will my gut will hurt. I'll break
Mm.
out. I'll have gas. I'll be a mess. And so, for me, I kind of was given a weak constitution. My mother was a smoker and I was the last one born. So, I mean, things
Mm.
went kind of wrong with, I wasn't breastfed. That's a big deal, by the way. And that sets the blanket of immunity down into your gut. And then people with it's better to have a good set of guts than a good set of brains any day. So I just I wasn't afforded these kind of luxuries growing up. And so it's always been a little, I have to watch. My diet has started, it's been very, I guess, strict only because it wasn't about bodybuilding. It was just like strict because I had to be strict. So it wasn't hard to have that discipline.
Mm.
But protein power bar is great. There's billions, and it's a big $1 billion industry.
Yeah. I remember you gave me a Kind bar when you were like, "Are you hungry? Here's a Kind bar." Or you're like, "Here." I was like,
That's
"Oh, sure, thank you." Um, so yeah, I'm gonna try some Kind bars. I've been eating the oh gosh, I've already forgotten I've not eaten any in a while, but they've got soy in them and they've got all those oils that are unhealthy and stuff. Lots of protein. They taste good, but it's just like you said, there's just a lot of, you know, extra stuff in them I don't want. So, um, but they tasted good. They taste good. What were they called? I'm gonna have to look them up. What were you gonna say, Eric?
Oh no, nothing. You're correct. I was just thinking if I had you just got to be smart when you know you're not going to be around food for a while. You're out or you're in your car and you do things in your car. You drive people. Your Uber. God, it'd be nice just to have some um, different blender shaker things, with like just whey protein in them that you could add water in whenever you wanted to shake it. And, like the whey protein I brought up, that chocolate whey one or the regular one, but these things are, I mean, what's in whey, if it's done right, if it's manufactured right, is, man, all these amino acids and the right ratios, and it's got glutathione. It's like superfood. So I'll go that way rather than a protein bar. But people can have such beautiful skin and they can eat crap, and I'm so happy for them. I was like, damn. and, but yeah, it's hard to. I mean, it's easy just to see like a fat burger in and out, like pull over, and
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Quest is the brand I was talking about. Quest bars. They're good. They're good. It's just I don't, I'm not a fan. I don't want to, soy and all those different peanut oils and stuff. It's just,
Yeah.
my old buddy Sam is going to have his 20th birthday on Tuesday. Can Sam get a shout out?
Sam, happy birthday, Sam. 20 years old. And you like me? Wow. So that's cool.
Dave has requested a birthday shout out too. His birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Dave.
Dave, happy belated birthday. Dave, how old are you?
Yeah, let's see.
That's nice. I killed off my audience with my rant on nitric oxide.
Cocoa Butter says you used his axe for a pro photo shoot in New Jersey HorrorCon.
I did. I remember we were stuck. They didn't bring anything for, I remember he saved my ass. and we didn't have, sweater or garbage can. We didn't have anything for these shoots. And he came through. I remember we hijacked his axe. So amazing. I've had people give me their Santa suits. I've had people,
Wow.
where you didn't want it, like, it's soaked with sweat. Like, whatever. But whatever. And got to be a trooper. So no, for these folks that do this, I can't thank you enough, man. Wow.
We've got some love for Murder Weapon in the chat. Elaine says you did great in Murder Weapon. Chris says he loves Murder Weapon. Nico really enjoys Murder Weapon. So there's some Murder Weapon love in the chat. And Murder Weapon got a really nice Blu-ray recently from Vinegar Syndrome. They should have reached out to you, Eric. They should have reached out to you for a commentary or an interview or something. What were they thinking?
I mean, really, what are you thinking? I was in that movie. I mean, people would value my commentary, I'm sure.
I certainly would.
I'm in it until I die, but I'm in it.
Got some memorable moments. Definitely some memorable moments.
Yes. I mean, in the car with Linnea. I mean, that's a keeper. That is such a. We never talked about that, but yeah, that was an impromptu little throwaway. But yeah, almost too cheesy. Someone said he's so cheesy in everything he does. But it's just,
it's memorable. It's memorable. People don't forget Eric Freeman was in a movie.
No, you can't. I mean, I don't forget. It's like, damn. But no, that was. I had, just to back up on that, when I confronted David Dakota about that scene coming up in that garage in the car, I said, well, I don't want to do that. And he says, well, what do you suggest? And I said, well, what if I said blah, blah, blah? And he just smiled at me and turned on his heel and walked away. And I thought, oh, F it. I got to do this thing. I got to do this. Oh, poo. And so I was dreading it. We were going, there's this outside scene where we were going into the garage, and Linnea and I are kind of giggling going into the garage, and then we're in the garage, and then we're there. I've got to do what I got to do, and lose my essence. And David yells out, "Okay, throw out the line." I said, "The line?" I'm thinking in my head, "The line?" I said, "Oh, that line." And so it was beyond impromptu. It was a very. I was quick to throw it out, but it was very very bad. But but anyway, that's how that came to be. But yeah, Linnea wasn't too pleased. Let me tell you, she wasn't too pleased. I put her on the spot. She did not do that at all. No, she wasn't. She didn't have any idea that was coming. She knew what I had to do and what I ended up doing. So I completely went against the actor's code in the sense of I changed the lines on her. So, but
she's a pro though. She can handle it,
Yeah, whatever.
We've got a $5 super chat here from Bog Zombie. He says, "Merry Christmas to both you guys. Thanks for sharing your knowledge on health, diet, and supplements. Eric taking notes. He's taking some notes. Thank you, Bog Zombie. Appreciate that, man.
It's garbage day.
Yes, it is.
Never gets tired. He's just looking down on it like
Yeah, he's like,
misfire. Yeah.
But thank you very much, Bog Zombie. Yeah. So to add to someone asked me if I was losing weight. I dug out my old winter coat from last year and I put that thing on, and it was ginormous.
Wow.
So it does work. It takes effort and consistency.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt that you are very wise on this. You're very knowledgeable. You do a lot of research, clearly, not only for your show, just overall on health things. So, I mean, you're very smart, and you have to be. You have to get real savvy about how the body works, and we never really know, right? It's a complicated machine, but.
Well, and I have you to say, Eric, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? So, and actually, here's a question I would normally ask Eric. Is there a particular brand of magnesium you recommend?
Well, if you can get pure magnesium glycinate in capsules, fine. And I know that Swanson had great magnesium glycinate for years, and I like Swanson because their brand is just somebody else's with their label on it. But I noticed that they put a little bit of magnesium oxide in there along with the glycinate, which a little bit is okay, but it used to be pure magnesium glycinate, which means that the magnesium is bonded to an amino acid called glycine. And so when you bond a mineral to an absorbable amino acid like glycine, the uptake into the body is considerably higher. You go from single digits to 17, 18, 19, 20% absorption rate by a chelated mineral is what it's called. It's bonded to an absorbable protein, or in the case of calcium citrate, you bond it to citric acid. But you don't want to bind magnesium to citric acid because that will be bad news. It'll be diarrhea and you won't be able to leave the house. So not advisable. But that's what a chelated mineral is, bonded to an absorbable protein. So that's how that works. Magnesium glycinate, I still like Swanson because dollars and cents makes sense, and their products are very, very good in general. But that's magnesium is very good for you, and anybody that's wants to relax their musculature and their arteries and stuff, it's a must. Mm-hmm. We don't get magnesium in the diet very well. We don't get a lot of things in the diet very well. Sulfur, and you know MSM really well, Justin. You know how good sulfur can be for you, organic sulfur. So that's one I really like. If you work out or you do something exercise, or you want to keep your tendons flexible, you always hear of athletes like snapping Achilles tendons or bodybuilders hurting some muscles in their body. Organic sulfur is a disulfonyl bond, meaning it makes you more flexible, and you just have to take enough for you. It's dose dependent. Could be a heaping teaspoon, usually heaping teaspoon twice a day. But the point is MSM is not only good for the hair, skin, and nails. It makes you more flexible. It helps heal injury. A must for someone that's active. But it's the beauty mineral. But we don't get sulfur in our diet because we boil everything, and things that have sulfur in them, cabbages and broccolis and things like this, we boil and we cook them, and the sulfur comes out through the steam. So we don't get a lot of sulfur, and there's not a lot of sulfur in the soil to begin with. So additional sulfur is your friend. And methyl sulfonyl methane, MSM, Mary Sam Mary.
And the thing about MSM too is like it hits you quick. Like as soon as you get it in you, like you can feel it's a pain reliever, and it just as soon as it hits, like you feel it immediately. So
good point. Yes, I forgot to mention that there's a book, Natural Solution for Pain. If you added in curcumin phytosome, curcumin, it's a phytosome, meaning it's a better version of curcumin. Curcumin, phytosome, and MSM, you have the 1-2 punch in knocking out inflammation and pain, period. I got Andrew Divoff on MSM at the con. I gave him a couple of teaspoons, a teaspoon, and then another one in another water bottle. It was water bottles. I put it in 2 water bottles. That guy, by the end of the day, said, Eric, I am sold. And I said, that quick? And he's, I'm sold. I'm going to get back and order this stuff. And so, because he wiped out on the ice up in Big Bear where he lives, and he put his elbow out to save himself from fall ice. What we do, we put our arm out or elbow out, something to block the fall of our body to crashing in the ground. And he wrenched his shoulder real bad, but it felt better for him by the end of the day. And so he was a believer. So, not to get off on that tangent, but yes, we all have injuries and we all have things. And trust me, there's a nutrient for you to make you better. And but I'm a big MSM, N-acetylcysteine, NAC. That's an excellent antioxidant. It converts to glutathione. So NAC, MSM, raising nitric oxide. These are wonderful things for everyone. I don't care if you're 30 or 40, 50, 60, 90, doesn't matter. You can get away with murder. You know, we know what we're like when we're 20. We're invincible. Can't hurt us. You could drink fucking poison and go out partying. It doesn't matter. But as we age, got to get smart.
Yeah. And the Bear Bells protein bars. Yeah, I tried some the caramel soft ones, and those were so freaking good. I mean, I wish they had a little more protein in them, but those were really freaking good.
Bear Bells. Never heard of it.
Today's Quentin's birthday. Happy birthday, Quentin. Happy birthday, my friend.
Quentin, thank you for showing up. Quentin's birthday. Happy birthday, Quentin.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, Nick, everybody's having birthdays. All these people's parents were getting busy around I was going to say the holidays, but 9 months before the holidays.
You mean Nico is Club 65? Is he 65?
65. He's going to be joining the 65 Club on Thursday.
Fuck me. I'm sorry. Excuse me. That is Nico. He's old school. I mean, he's there long before I crashed your party. So, happy birthday, Nico. That's cool, man. I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy birthday. Yeah, Nico, you need to join the patron stream tomorrow so we can throw you a little birthday party. So, yeah.
That's right. Little hat, little party favors.
Yeah. Razami wants a Piz Freeman workout collab. I think she just wants to see you with your shirt off, Eric.
Yeah.
That's probably it. That's probably it. Here's my buddy Garrett, born to be rad. What's up, man? How are you doing?
That's funny. Born to be rad.
Yeah. Hope you're doing well. Oh my goodness. Chris / Your Home Video started up the Hallmark movie you and Robert Brian Wilson cameoed in, by the way. I didn't get much farther than your scene, though. That's a David Duchovny film right there, too.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah. I think my voice got dubbed in that. In fact, I know it did.
It did. Yeah, it did.
Someone that told me on the sly said, that's a second sound issue with I think I'm cursed. It didn't matter. It was so, Robert had the scene. I just was in the back grumbling about something being fired or whatever. But I wish David could have made more of that because, I just wanted more. Wanted more back then. I wanted more then. Just wanted more dialogue. But yeah, that really stank. I showed up to honor David for the premiere of that thing. And I was like, well, that's not my voice.
And that sucks too, because I mean, it's like you and Robert Brian Wilson in the same scene together, and like you hear your voice, and you're like, that's not Eric. They dubbed Eric. What the hell?
Yeah, and years earlier, probably 34 or 5 years earlier, I did something movie for David was producing. He wasn't directing, but it was I was drunk at a bar, and I did great, but it was dubbed and all of it. And I was like, damn, what what did I do to deserve that? But it's just you have sound problems. You know how that works.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they just get some guy that throws it in dialogue in your mouth, and that's it. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, that was Conway, by the way, Jeff Conway from Taxi, and the Audrey and Judy Landers. And the reason I brought that up, not to cut you off, but I remember Jeff Conway was snorting a pile of coke in the in the restroom, and I went in there to use the restroom, and he was using it too. So, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, then years later he's in rehab or whatever, but he he was a coke fiend, and many of them were. I didn't mean to out the guy, but it was just so shocking. Just the pile he was snorting.
His history is pretty well documented. So
Yeah.
No. Well, I have cut back on the Christmas tree cakes. Cut back a lot on the Christmas tree cakes. So they are addicting, though. They're very addicting. Barney Likes Beer says Piz is 40% muscle and 60% denim. That's a close. That's pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah, no, I noticed the denim earlier when we came on. I said, well, he's looking very svelte, and I thought maybe it's his jacket. But if other people aren't noticing what I'm noticing, I think it's working. It's working.
Well, I mean, it's the winter of denim, so I'm trying to bring the denim jacket back with all the pins and the buttons and stuff on it. Here's the thing. I've worked hard to look this good. So why not just show it off, just show it off. So that's why the OnlyFans is going to be dropping soon. Keep an eye peeled for that one, So do you know what OnlyFans is, Eric?
I do not.
Okay, good. Don't look into it. Just don't look into it. Jeff asked a question about creatine. We were actually talking about creatine not long ago. What do you think of creatine? I take it every day, he says.
Good thing. Good. On many levels. It's what they call a nootropic. It's good for the brain. Many people think it helps outside of it's a don't it buffers ATP. When you're working out, it's very good, or exercise, because you utilize ATP when you contract a muscle, whatever you're doing. When you contract a muscle, say dumbbell curls, you are utilizing adenosine triphosphate, ATP. You're utilizing it. It's a muscle energy. And in doing so, you utilize that molecule of ATP. And creatine is there to convert. It takes the ATP gets converted to ADP in the contraction, so it gets spent, ATP to ADP. Creatine takes ADP and makes ATP, so it buffers cellular energy, adenosine triphosphate. It gives you more of it immediately. So you can do more contractions. You don't get tired. You have more endurance. You're not winded. You can be stronger. And it's very good for the brain. It's very good. Some people call it longevity and such. It's very good for many things. And you can do 5 grams a day or more. You don't have to go crazy with it. Creatine is in red meat, but we don't get a lot of it. It's not in a lot of things, but it's in red meat. But you would have to eat, to get 5 grams of it, you'd have to eat, what do you think, Piz? 5 pounds of red meat?
Yeah, but you don't get a lot out of meat. Yeah.
Right. So it's very good, and it's not expensive, and it can help. I notice it when I get on it. I like, wow, I'm strong. I'm very strong. I'm not a strong guy. but you get stronger and you have more endurance and you don't get winded. You're like, fuck, I'm Superman. And that's creatine. And so good.
Yeah, yeah. I've been taking creatine for months and months and months, and the one thing that I have to be very that I in the beginning, because creatine pulls water out of your it pulls water out of your body and into your muscles, and it can make you very dehydrated. So I mean, I was having I didn't realize just how dehydrated, and it's more complicated than just, oh, just go drink water. Like when you think, oh, just you hydrate, go drink water, right? So I mean, it was learning how to hydrate. I had to learn how to hydrate because I must be a super responder to creatine, because it was just, I mean, like I was turning into a mummy, and I wasn't doing like I didn't do like the bulking phase where you do 20 grams a day for a week and then you go to the maintenance 5 grams a day or whatever. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, like I was having cramps in parts of my body I'd never had cramps in my life.
Yeah, no, that can happen, and you're right. It's not. People might get scared, like, oh, it pulls a bunch of water into it doesn't give you edema, but it does. It will. Muscles will pull in more fluid, and when someone's on anabolic steroids, that's what happens too. The more creatine gets pulled into the muscle, more glycogen and more nitrogen, and that way, the muscles get bigger and stronger. In that case, but creatine, you're right. And some people can, you get down to what is your dose that you need? Is it 4 grams, something? But you know best, Piz, but you're right.
Yeah. See, I'm on like a 2.5 gram maintenance dose at this point, because I think when I was doing like the 5 or more, once your muscles get saturated with it, you just pee the rest of it out. So, but I think, yeah, like it was making me go to the bathroom a lot. So I'm down to like a 2.5 gram maintenance dose. But when it comes to hydration, like, I mean, I was buying like these liquid IV packs and like, just stuff to like get,
Mhm.
the stuff that's not just in water. I mean, just regular water doesn't have, electrolytes and all that in it that I needed. And like, I mean, I would just be all cramped up and, it was, yeah, it was. But creatine is very good, very cheap. It dissolves very easily in water. It's yeah, and it does more than just, with muscles and endurance and stuff. It's like Eric said, it's a nootropic. It's good for your mind, good for your brain. So,
Yeah, you're right. I think it's all dose dependent. You found out what you need, and for me, I used to say it was the brand I was taking too, but if I exceed a certain amount, I get kind of I don't want to say a headache, yes, headache, but more like lightheaded. I
mhm,
noticed when I
mhm.
take a lot of it and I was working out or doing squats or something, that exertion, I would be it would be, and I knew that I was exceeding my limits. So I do like to play with it. And on a lower level, and that's important to you're right. Don't load this thing like, oh, loading phase, and just take 5 grams a day, and that's not a lot, or it might be less. It might be a couple. Find out what you're, but if you're active and you'll notice it. You'll notice a difference on people. It'll be dramatic. The difference in how I think as we age, we need certain things, and it's worth trying. But you're right.
Mhm.
Be very cautious on that one, I guess.
Mhm. Elaine wants to know MSM, and what was the other recipe you mentioned?
Oh, that was curcumin phytosome. Understand, you probably have friends, or you might be interested in like food sources of turmeric root would be like curry, and people from India eat a lot of curry, in the Mediterranean, the curry, and they eat tons of curry, and it's that yellow kind of almost gravy they dump on everything, and that's turmeric root. But the main constituent of turmeric root is curcumin, and it'll either be called curcumin phytosome or it'll be called turmeric phytosome. And the phytosome aspect of it is turmeric and curcumin, call it the same thing. has a very low absorption rate in the body. It's a fat soluble nutrient that doesn't have a high bioavailability to the body. So they've learned in the past few years, if we bond this fat soluble nutrient curcumin to a fatty acid, i.e. lecithin, a phospholipid, if you will, if we bond this turmeric to a phospholipid, the uptake is nearly 20%. So we can get a lot more out of it when it's a curcumin or turmeric phytosome. Phytosome. Go to Swanson Vitamins and look for turmeric phytosome. It's called turmeric phytosome. It's their brand, Swanson. It's the cheapest you can get it. If you're a regular at Swanson, they'll give you 40% off. They'll send you a thing like 40% off, 30% off, and it's just like a deal. You can get a bottle of it cheap, but it is a potent anti-inflammatory. If you took 2 or 3 a day, generally 3 in divided doses of turmeric phytosome, if you have a nagging injury or inflammation in the body, it's good for the liver, it's good for the joints, it's good for all parts of the body. It's the most studied herb out there, turmeric and curcumin, the most studied of all. They're just fascinated by it, these scientists. And so if we can combine turmeric with MSM, it's like boom, boom.
You can find a lot of people recommend combining black pepper with turmeric. That the black pepper will help the body's absorption. Like you can find, like Swanson actually has, it's turmeric and black pepper together.
Right. It's called Bioprin. Bioprin is, it's like the trademark name of this black pepper. It helps with absorption. And I would say that would be I would go to that as a number 2 pick of the phytosome. Think of the lecithin aspect of like it's soy lecithin or egg lecithin. That's the yellow of a yolk of an egg. Those fatty acids in there are highly absorbable. So if we bond the turmeric to these phospholipids, our cells are phospholipids. Our cells are a bilayer lipid membrane of phospholipids. That's where communication happens in intracellular, extracellular phospholipid, each cell, the trillions we have. And so if you can create a phospholipid turmeric phytosome, you can imagine uptake is exponential. So not to bore you, but that's why that is such a game changer, that turmeric phytosome. There's a product out there, and you've heard of it. Certainly the audience has, called Relief Factor. Relief Factor, you can buy it. It'll kill all pain. It doesn't help with rebuilding the joints, but it's a real pain inflammatory killer called Relief Factor. The main player of Relief Factor is turmeric phytosome, and the company that makes that turmeric phytosome is the one you should look for. It's called Meriva. If it's Meriva brand, Meriva is the company that tweaks this curcumin with this phytosome, makes the Meriva curcumin phytosome that is the game changer of this. So not to bore you, but that's the intricacies of this, why that product is so much superior to others. And then MSM, go to what is it? Galaxy Guardian Supplements, guardiansupplements.com. She just changed her Guardian Supplements is that lady sells MSM and everything else, but she's got the best MSM. Opti MSM is the one to get in powder form, and mix it in water or orange juice or whatever you want. But that way you can knock out pain and inflammation of your joints. And with the phytosome, I mean, that is, I swear, those 2 things in particular are going to help you return to flexibility and taking away your pain. So there's many things you can do. I always think connective tissue for connective tissue, like glucogel is a fantastic product. Glucogel for fixing and mending joints that are been hurt. Glucogel and MSM and turmeric phytosome. These are things that fix the body and the joints and the shoulders and the knees and injury. We do stupid shit. We fall down on a wet pavement and hurt ourselves, and then we're racked with pain. That's what that book is all about. MSM, Natural Solution for Pain. It's a bunch of people that have serious car accidents and this and that and nowhere to turn, but MSM is their thing. And dose dependent. It may be a heaping tablespoon a day. It may be just a heaping teaspoon a day. You have to find out, but it's generally more. It's generally what I found. If you're weigh 150 pounds or more, a tablespoon, heaping teaspoon twice a day, it's somewhere in there. But only that, I don't mean to belabor it, but specifics matter with this stuff, because people try stuff and they don't try enough, or they try the wrong kind and that doesn't work. And then they go, well, that Freeman's an idiot. And indeed I am. But in this case, I would say, try the right product and try a right amount. And
Well, Frightful Night Media has a question about a different kind of pain. He wants to know, is there anything natural that can help headaches and migraines? So he takes Excedrin all day.
Yeah, we start looking at the liver. Look at the liver. And I've been wondering if raising your nitric oxide wouldn't help in that case. What, some people drink coffee and they constrict these arteries, these vessels going into the brain, into the head and the skull to stop the pain. But I'm wondering if it isn't, the Chinese are big believers in the liver. The liver controls the muscles. The liver controls the tendons. The liver controls the eyes and blurry eyesight versus sharp eyesight. The liver does a lot of things, but when the liver is off and the liver is not getting the nutrients it needs to function, phase 1, phase 2, there's these different phases, the initial phase and then the 4 subchannels, phase 2. If that's off and that's not working right, think of like all your bodily, the foods you eat, the emotions you have, everything that goes into phase 1 of your liver, the beginning like funnel, all these things go into this funnel of the beginning of the liver's detoxification process. All these metabolic wastes have to then be guided to a subchannel, 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4 subchannels underneath phase 1. Phase 1, then there's phase 2. If phase 2 is blocked at any part, let's say you have 2 compartments that aren't working well, enzymatically broken down, the nutrients aren't there for certain, how can I put it, phase 1, and then these toxic poisonous wastes have to go to 1 of 4 subchannels. If 1 subchannel is not working right, or it's substandard function, or 2 is a substandard, these metabolic wastes that normally would go to these phase 2 channels that are blocked, they have to go over here and into like these compartments, go through these doors and be detoxified. In the process of that, you can get dark circles under your eyes. You can get headaches. You can get migraine headaches. You can, women get migraine headaches at the time of their month, and it has a lot to do with the liver and deconjugating estrogen and breaking it down from 16-hydroxyestrone to 2-hydroxyestrone, meaning the bad form of estrogen that causes cancer, to the good form of estrogen that's beneficial to you. And that takes sulfurous type of foods like broccoli, and there's also a product called DIM, D-I-M, diindel methane. But women suffer from these very things that this gentleman does, in the sense of monthly headaches or migraines, where you have to shut everything down, lie down, and darkness, and it's miserable. And the liver is a big player in that. And diet, changing the diet, getting all the B vitamins your liver need, all the nutrients your liver needs. Your liver needs a vast array of nutrients to work properly. And N-acetylcysteine could be a very, very big help to this gentleman. N-acetylcysteine helps with phase 1 and phase 2 of the liver, among other things. You can always get a hold of me through my site, and I can maybe add some things to it. But making your liver work better was probably going to help dramatically. What foods are you eating? What things are you doing? Are you allergic to beer? I'm just throwing beer out because things can cause headaches. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis that might be causing these headaches? Your body can't handle it. Generally, you have to break down everything you eat, and that ends up at the sanitation department called your liver. This poor guy, if you aren't giving the nutrients to your liver, you're gonna have a lot of detoxification problems and And then headaches. That's one aspect. There's many others. I'm not just blaming your liver on it, but and I didn't mean to take all this time, but you can see where it all fits together. I don't claim to know everything, but I do know that the liver is it takes the foods we eat and it reassembles for repair and maintenance of the body's tissues, muscles, everything. Plus it's sanitation and getting the proper amount of sleep at the proper amount of time. The liver doesn't like to be bothered at night. It's got a lot of sanitation to take care of, and it's 90% of the body's job is sanitation, and that happens in the liver. So can we do better by our liver? Yeah, with the better diet and the right nutrients, sulfur-based amino acids, and many of them. There's stuff and other things to help your liver. There's liver DTX by Evergreen Formulas. It's a Chinese herbs that can help. We have to unblock. Also, the Chinese believe, just I'll end it there. The Chinese also believe in that the qi is blocked. Energy is blocked in the liver and needs to release the qi and unblock the energy, that the sluggishness of the liver. So again, I would maybe look there and other places. N-acetylcysteine could certainly help raising your glutathione, which this will. You can take reduced glutathione as well. They have that. And anytime you can raise glutathione, that's the body's antioxidant, the main one. But this is a good start. Two of these like 3 times a day, 1 gram 3 times a day, N-acetylcysteine on an empty stomach if you can. If you can't, put it in with food. Works better alone. All amino acids work better empty stomach. I'm killing the audience, and I apologize.
Well, no, see, I was going to say that I don't know if I read this or if somebody told me, but like a lot of like migraines is due to like a restricted blood vessels in your head. And you mentioned nitric oxide, so I was wondering if maybe like if this guy took, a few grams of L-citrulline a day, if that might help, get the blood flowing up to the noggin. That might help.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the mainstay. There's a book out there called No More Heart Disease. It's on eBay. It's $4. And the guy that wrote the book, NO is nitric oxide, No More Heart Disease. Dr. Louis Ignarro, he won the Nobel Prize for discovering the nitric oxide molecule. I bring that up because that book is $4 on eBay. No More Heart Disease. In there, he says to take citrulline, L-citrulline, as you did, Piz, because you're bright, and L-arginine together in like 5 grams of each, like a heaping teaspoon of each in a powder, mix it up, drink it. And arginine tastes like crap. Citrulline is very nice and pleasant, tastes like sugar. But you put both together. Those are 2 amino acids that raise nitric oxide. Beetroot powder raises nitric oxide because it's dietary nitrates. We went over that. And then nitric oxide lozenges. And Nathan Bryan, who's the foremost premier guy on nitric oxide, Nathan Bryan has got his own line of nitric oxide. Put in nitric oxide lozenges on Amazon and you'll see it. It's $79 for his Nathan Bryan's product. It's sodium nitrite and beetroot powder and a little bit of L-citrulline and I think some magnesium, ascorbate, a type of vitamin C, magnesium-based, is his lozenge. But it's, again, going to raise nitric oxide very quickly. And so these are things we can do. And I'm thinking, well, you're thinking, vasodilate is the headache coming from constricted blood vessels? If this gentleman that had this problem may have high blood pressure or blood pressure issues or circulation issues or erection issues, or it all says low nitric oxide. So this might be something that will alleviate his headache and create circulation. It would be something to look into. Anytime you can. Also, it's anti-inflammatory nitric oxide. It does wonderful things in the body. So this is, I agree with you, Piz. You're very bright, and this is something I would look into, the nitric oxide aspect. Some people take coffee to constrict for migraines, like triple doses of cappuccinos. I know people that do this, and then they lie down in the dark. and try to let it pass. But look to the liver and look to vasodilation, I would say. And I think these are wise things. And I'm just a guy, I'm not really pulling out of my ass, but in the sense, I'm saying, look, could it be a circulatory issue? Could it be a liver issue? These are commonplace. The liver, I keep pointing there because that not working well on people can cause headaches, but circulatory issues can also do it. And I love the fact you brought that up again, because you're dead on, man. Raising nitric, you can get beetroot powder and make a big glass of beetroot powder and sip it slowly. You can take citrulline and arginine. You can take the lozenges if you got a little bit of money. And I think that these things, and get those nitric oxide test strips, and you can find them cheaply if you look around, and you can monitor your nitric oxide levels and watch it raise, and then you're doing right by yourself. You're self-monitoring. And these are things doctors aren't doing, but I'm telling you, you go to your doctor, that's one of the first things they should run that test on you. I mean, that would be just standard. Oh, you have high blood pressure? The first thing I would do is run nitric oxide. They aren't even thinking that. You can't get a doctor to tell you what high blood pressure is. You can't. They don't know. And it's constriction of your arteries. And it's constriction. You want to open this up. The smooth muscle around your arteries is clamping down and constricting. You need to open it up. Magnesium, nitric oxide. I'm not a nut on it, but so many people suffer in so many ways, and they just go through it. And I think this guy can be helped. I mean, I would seek out a clinical nutritionist, if nothing else, someone very bright, and he can be helped. An advanced kinesiologist, he can test you, can muscle test you, and find out if your liver's working substandard performance, nitric oxide levels. You can check that. These are things you can do cheaply, and it won't cost you much. And you can find out. I would check your nitric oxide levels. I would work on your liver with N-acetylcysteine and other nutrients, B vitamins, methylated B vitamins, active B vitamins are also known as. You want to give your liver essential fatty acids, B vitamins. You want to give them the right amino acids. Free form amino acids are very good for the body, very good for the body, and minerals, minerals and B vitamins, essential fatty acids. Give your body everything. The liver will start working well if that's your issue. Raise your circulation by nitric oxide, and that may be the trick. There's something in there that'll work. I think we've nutted it. I know we certainly, to some degree, this man will get better just by being smart.
Yeah.
So I'm born. I love it. I'm fascinated by this. I mean, but it's killing people. But
I mean, you know your stuff. You know your stuff. Cocoa Butter says, "Loved you in divorce court." That was a great episode of Divorce Court. And you can find that episode. It's on Eric's channel, as a matter of fact, I do believe.
I'm the guy that put it out there. Yeah, and I liked it too. And and thank you. You're very kind. Considering the adversity of that job was not mine. I was called the night before. The kid that had that job got in a car accident, and they called me up and said, "Could you get down to Radford Studios in the Valley and get a script for Divorce Court? They want you." The guy that got in a car accident. So I was a fill-in, and so I strapped myself to the coffee table and literally almost chained myself to it with coffee. And I'm like getting the dialogue down because it was the next morning at 7 a.m. I had to be way up far up in Magic Mountain. And then I was supposed to have scars on my face. That they read really nice. He just disfigured. There was no bandage on my head. They tried to do scars, but the makeup artist was a neophyte. And so it looked really bad. And the guy came in, the director said, "That doesn't read well at all. Just put a bandage on his head." And then all of a sudden I'm blind. And I barely got my dialogue down. I'm stumbling all over the place. And then the district attorney, the guy that's a regular playing the district attorney that's grilling me on the stand, he's a regular player on the show, so he has a lot of clout. And the dialogue was very racy. I loved it. It was Dakota-ish in its dirtiness. And and so he wouldn't do it. He said he called up to the booth and he said, Bob, I don't like this dialogue. And I'm like, well, I do because I have it memorized, but that didn't matter. So they changed it on us right at the last minute, and so the adversity. I'm like, Christ, I mean, what's next? You're going to cut off my finger and make it part of the show, and but I'm not whining. But man, I've never been under that kind of stress in my life, and that quickly, and because you got to deliver. I mean, you know what it's like. You're an entertainer. Christ, it's like, it's like, okay, a bomb just went off and blew half my wall away, and my mom's yelling at me, and the cat's clawing my whatever, and then it's like, oh, then you're trying to be Mr. Cool, and so, but I don't know, I tried. I'm sorry, I'm bitching, aren't I? I'm so glad to get that job, and I thought it was good. And thank you, you're very kind. And God, and that morning, that guy, what's his name? Jay Peterman. I forgot his actor's name. Jay Peterman. He was there as a young actor. There was 3 episodes. They were knocking them out, boom, 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 and we were the third episode. What they did is they shot 3 episodes a day, so they only had to work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or no, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday worked, and then they had Thursday and Friday off because they shot 3 episodes a day. And the Jay Peterman guy was there, and some other actors I ended up knowing years later were there with their episodes, and so I had to wait interminably for my episode to come up, and blinded. And I mean, you wouldn't think that'd be a big deal, right? All of a sudden, you don't have sight, but
yeah.
It mattered to me, man. I was effed up, and and whatever. But I tried. You always go, oh God, what? How can I be better? Was I good? And then I went up to the booth myself saying I wanted some copy on it. When's it going to air? When can I see it? Because we wanted a reel. We're trying to build
real,
yeah. Because you got to show agents something to get a better agent, and so I was particularly interested in getting footage on myself as well back in the day. So, but I like that. I could have done better, I guess. I don't know. But I look back at it just the other day and go, damn, that guy. He was quite a good looking man back then. All that hair, and they did my clothes. By the way, I brought my clothes, and thank God. So yeah, no, he was a passable looking young man. He wasn't handsome, but he certainly looked good. So I was like, wow, what happened? But that's time. But you're very kind with your but the backstory on it was extremely difficult. I've been on sets where you're supposed to talk to the actor, but they're too big. They're the regulars on the show, and you're just a guest star, and they leave, and you're talking to a metal C-stand. that sucks, but they're too cool to stay around for our scene. But so you're talking to a pipe, and make it real, baby. And that's how it is. If you're Jim Carrey, or if you're some lead in some show, and I'm just like a Superboy or whatever, or dangerous curves. I'm talking to C-stands and dangerous curves. It's like, damn. And it's always the guys like us that show up with a little piece of work. They're the most kind. I'll stay till midnight to help somebody because I know how it is, and that the real connection. But the regulars on the show, they're out at 5 p.m. Gone.
Oh yeah.
Anyhow, you know how it is, Piz. It's you're out. It's like war zone on these things. It's not anything what you think it is.
Horror Collections 13. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. That's very kind of you, sir. Thank you.
It's garbage day.
Yes, it is. Oh, goodness gracious. Let me see. Let me catch up with the chat here. Oh, so this okay. So this was something I was going to ask you, Eric. Just another horror fan. Your thoughts on collagen? I've been adding some collagen peptides to my intake. What's your thoughts on collagen?
Seems to be all the rage, doesn't it? I like fish collagen, also known as marine collagen, much better than I do bovine collagen. Bovine collagen is hard to dissolve. It's very sticky. It um, you, there's a lot of hype on collagen, but what we know as collagen peptides are also known as hydrolyzed collagen. Hydrolyzed collagen and collagen peptides are indeed the same. So if it says collagen peptides and there's some buku price on it, it's really a hydrolyzed collagen, and you can just buy hydrolyzed collagen cheaper. Fish collagen is a finer, more easily dissolved, higher absorption rate collagen. They'll say collagens are all the same, but if I had my choices, I would go with a marine collagen or fish collagen. Is I guess they're getting away from fish. I'm just calling it marine, but it's white. It's more white, like fine granulated sugar, opposed to more like a kind of a light brown or tan or whatever. But all collagens, much of these, unless it's collagen peptides or hydrolyzed, it's broken down to its assorted amino acids, if you will, higher absorption rate. Regular collagen doesn't leave the intestinal tract, but when it's hydrolyzed or peptides, same thing. They call it peptides so they can squeeze twice the money out of you, because that's what they do. But yeah, it's lighter and easier dissolved, and marine collagen, I prefer that better. I know that Asian ladies really like the fish collagen opposed to the bovine, and then there's the other camp. They'll say they're all the same, but they aren't. There's type 1, there's type 2, and even type 3, 4, 5, whatever. But play around, find what you like there. And no. Oh, by the way, do not add collagen to anything hot. Some people like putting it in their coffee. You big mistake. You render it useless in hot liquids. And that might be something new to people, but it doesn't do well in hot liquids. People, I add collagen to my coffee. That seems smart, but it isn't. And worth mentioning. Hot liquids, no.
My tube says, very late. Just want to shout some love at you both. Thanks for adding to my life. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here, my tube. Very kind of you.
It is. Good. I know we've diverted into other issues, but I do like talking about some of the things that we did, more Caldwell-esque, but I apologize for the diversion tonight.
No, it's all good. I actually, and I know you're a big guitar guy. I was going to share with you a couple of new axes that I recently purchased.
Good. Yeah, that's right.
So I recently got this LTD Viper LTD.
Wow, SG style.
Oh yeah, I love the SG style. I'm a sucker for the SG style. So
that's pretty.
Yeah, just beautiful. Got a very smooth neck on it. It just feels good.
It's at a set neck too. That neck is one piece into the body, isn't it?
Yes, it is. As a matter of fact,
it's very good. It's very good. No, it's not a bolt-on neck. So that's a good guitar.
Yeah. They upgraded the pickups. It's got some Seymour Duncan pickups in it, and it's just beautiful red, very dark shiny red. Yeah, crimson. I love the inlays. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, only thing I dislike about it, if you can tune it perfectly, you strum it one time, you got to tune it again. So I don't know if I need maybe some better tuners on it or what, but it doesn't hold a tune very well.
Well, show me the back of the headstock. Show me the back of the neck of the headstock there.
Let me see if let me make it full screen here. Hold on.
Oh, I think you got some good tuners there, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's something else. I don't know, but it doesn't hold. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just not.
Are the strings new? Are the strings new on it?
They sound new. They feel new. I'm pretty sure
okay.
this. Yeah.
Let me show me the tailpiece again. Show me the tailpiece, the front of it where the pickups are. The tailpiece, the body, higher. I want to look at where the strings attached to the body. For other side. Yeah, headstock. Now give me the tailpiece. The very end of the no. Yes.
Oh, there. Okay, yeah.
Okay, you said fixed tailpiece. All right, your problem is not on the body of it being out of tune.
Okay.
And I would say it's at the tuners, but it isn't, because those are decent. Those are entry level tuners, but they're sealed tuners. They're not bad. You know what else you could do is stretch your strings. Have a guitar laying on your lap or whatever, but stretch the E string, go all the way down to high E to small. Stretch the strings a little bit, because if they're new, you can strum it and it'll be out of tune. You have to stretch the strings and then retune it. Okay.
Okay.
If you have any problems with that guitar, you stretch the strings, and normally Stratocasters, they have two problems. It's at the bridge and it's at the headstock, meaning the tuners. The tuners and the bridge are suspect in a Stratocaster because that bridge is flexible. It comes up. It's spring loaded. In your case, that's fixed. That's a fixed tailpiece. Nothing's moving at the tailpiece of that body. And if there's any problem, if it's not the strings need to be stretched, it's those tuners. It might be that the truss rod might need to be tightened a little bit. That's a neck. But if your action's good, if your neck is not flexing, and I don't think it is, I think those tuners might, a tuner upgrade to some better ones might be advisable, but I would stretch those strings first.
Okay.
And I always do that. When I'm tuning up, I stretch the strings, stretch them, and then I retune it, stretch them. And because at some point they will be stretched and they will not go out. The strings won't be the culprit.
Okay.
So they will be stretched enough, especially G, B, and E, the ones that aren't wound, the last three, the bottom, the smallest ones. Those are all steel. You stretch those, and they aren't going to stretch anymore, even if you're bending and you're bending the strings on the frets and you're for bending for sound. They're still going to come back to original place, but new strings need stretching. But the usual culprit in a guitar going out of tune is the tailpiece. Yours is fixed, so that's not the problem, or the tuners, or the strings themselves need to be stretched. But suspect that's the only thing it can be. And I say that because I bought many a Stratocaster because they couldn't keep it in tune. Many of them, $75, $100. Oh, it won't stay in tune. It won't stay in tune. And I brought the bridge down. I brought the butt end of that bridge down on a Strat. You get the bridge to touch the body, tighten it up on the backside. And once that bridge is locked down, so to speak, it's not going to come up and it's not going to cause tuning irregularities there. And then if your tuners are decent, and you remind me to tell you where your strings go over the nut going into the headstock, that right by the first fret, it's called the nut, where they're slotted. No, undo every string, pull to the side, and take a pencil, regular leaded pencil, and an X-Acto knife, and scratch some powder lead into each slot. Each slot gets a little bit of powdered lead, and put the string back in its slot. Why? Now you put like graphite. You put lubricant into those slots. Sometimes those slots can get sticky. The strings can kind of jam up in the nut and cause tuning problems. So if the strings can flow through the slots by either you use liquid graphite, but a poor man might use lead from a pencil, and you scratch a little bit of powder into each little slot, put your strings back in. And so if all things have been done and they're stretched and the nut is lubricated, look to your tuners as the culprit in a general sense. But I think you're good. That looks like a beaut. That's a It's a set neck guitar. It's very good. It's beautiful, and I'm sure it plays. And when they play. And I just think that's what gives people fits. It's like, won't stay in tune. It won't stay in tune. Every Telecaster person always, for time immemorial, always complained about Stratocasters not staying in tune. You have to know how to keep one in tune. And that's why tele guys are tele guys, and they look at Strats like, it won't stay in tune. But the reality is you just got to make sure your tuners are good and your bridge, your butt end of your bridge is down, unless you like it floating, unless you want to pretend you're Eddie Van Halen. But if the butt end of that bridge is down and it only comes up when you bend your strings really hard, and then it comes up a little bit, but it stays locked down, it's that fine line of being spring loaded. It comes up just enough when you're bending strings and then back down again. It'll always stay in tune. But you don't have that problem. Yours is a fixed bridge. And the tuners they're certainly serviceable, but lubricate the slots, stretch the strings. If you still have a problem, tuners, then get a locking tuners for that. Instead, get the ones with the wheel on the back, and they lock the string. When you lock the string, and you've used locking tuners before, and then you're golden. If you can lock those strings in and they're not, see, normally strings got to go around the peg a few times, right? They go around and that area can always keep stretching on you. And it's like wrapping a rope around a mooring as you're mooring up your boat. But a rope around a pipe or in this case, a string around the peg, that's an area where they can stretch and keep out of tune. But when it's a locking tuner, the string goes through the slot hole, and then there's a pin that tightens up on it, and that's locked for good. You don't have to go around very many times, maybe just once. But a locking tuner is your best defense on keeping that thing in tune. Good locking tuners, and your bridge is fixed, you're going to be golden, I think. And that, I got to admit to you, that is a big bugaboo with people. That's why I can't play that thing. It's always out of tune. Even Jeff Beck, famous guitarist, just died. He had a 55 Strat that he couldn't keep in tune. He goes, I love it and I hate it. I love it and I hate it. And he goes, it's my favorite guitar, but it's fucker won't stay in tune. Sorry. But the point is, he's a player. He's not a tech. And techs, I know how to do both. Barely play, but I'm better tech. And I know what makes a Strat go out of tune. And usually he had probably 50 years. He didn't want to change his tuners, but you don't have to. You can change them without changing the holes in it. You don't have to screw up the originality. But he could have done something to make it play. And because what good is the guitar if it's not in tune?
Yeah.
So but you now know what to do, and anyone listening knows what to do.
Yeah.
Lubricate the nut, stretch the strings, make sure your bridge is down. In your case, it's fixed. You have no problem. It's a Les Paul style of guitar. It's a double humbucker with the tailpiece. Worry about your tuners, and worry about your nut, and worry about your strings being stretched. That's it.
Well, you mentioned a telly. I got my very first telly recently too. Yeah.
Ooh, maple neck, nice.
Oh
nice.
just gorgeous, beautiful telly.
Show the audience the there, it's string through, and then flip it around. Yeah, no, that's good. When the strings go through the body, and see, and the tellies are good because it's fixed. There's no tremolo system on that. That thing stays in tune, doesn't it?
Oh yes, yeah, it stays in tune.
It stays in tune.
Yeah, I think I've had it for several months. I think I've maybe tuned it twice.
And that's a Squire telly. That's a good one.
Yeah, this is one of their 40th anniversary ones, and it sounds great. It feels great. What's like all the Strats and the SGs and stuff I've played, they all kind of contour to your body. The telly's just like, nah, you contour to us. You contour to it. You know what I mean? Because it's just a box. You got to contour to me. You know what I mean? We're not giving you any favors.
No.
So, but I love the neck on it is just so incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible neck.
It looks good. It looks good, and I understand what you're saying. Les Pauls are the same. They're very sharp edge and they're very heavy. And I remember when I had a kid, I had one that dug into my rib cage and I hated it. And it was heavy, but those are light at least, and I imagine that thing plays quite well.
It does. Yeah, it sounds great. It plays well. Yeah, it's.
I would say get a telly if anyone's interested. Get a telly, because some of the best solos in the world you thought were done on a Les Paul. Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin used the telly in the studio. Those things sound great.
Oh yeah.
and string through is better. I know
Yeah.
that Bonamassa and all these famous guitarists say that a string through guitar sonically is no better than a top loading one where you put the strings on the top. And he is right. When you're playing it amped up, sonically it's no different. But when you're sitting playing that guitar with no amplifier, string through telly, strings coming through the back of the body over, it has more resonance and more sustain, and it's more enjoyable, and you can hear it in your ears. It's just the wood of the body takes up the vibrational aspect of it, and it sounds better. It's string through. I'm hooked. I'm not wrong. I have a good ear. I'm not a good guitarist by any level. I suck, but I've got an ear, and I know what string through is way better than top loader. Top loader, the vibrational frequencies, what we call notes, kind of emanate and disappear into the ether, where string through it resonates and stays around you better. It's more robust and more sustained. It's just better.
I agree.
I've had a million guitars, so not a million, but enough to string through. I turn them into string through. When they're not, I don't care. I change it, and I'm drilling, and I'm putting those little things in the back, and a different bridge, and to me, it makes value. It's value added. So
I'm dropping the link in the chat if anybody wants to jump on and say hello to Eric or ask a question or what have you. So the link to join is in the chat on both YouTube and Twitch. Feel free to hop on. We've been going for almost 2.5 hours, Eric. It doesn't feel like
and I've been babbling on shit. Now we've lost our audience. 9 Ways to Sunday. Like, we got a whole new group. We got the musical group coming in. But no, I appreciate those are beautiful guitars, Piz, and I know you're like got your full up on guitars.
Yeah. I've put a block on myself. No more guitars.
No, I hear you. I bought one recently, and I love the body. I hate the neck. And heck, hold on. But I'm gonna put a different neck on it. It's a good looking body. I mean, I got it for a song, but I like it because it's really got a lot of red burst in the red. It's really,
it's beautiful.
Yeah. And but I've got a maple neck, like your telly. I've got a maple neck for this thing. This neck, no good. It's got.
Is it just? Do you not like rosewood, or is it just like not?
I prefer rosewood. I prefer rosewood to maple, but I'm not saying you love maple, you love rosewood, you love one or the other. But I have a neck I know is fantastic. It's just fantastic, and so I know it'll just be the perfect mate to this. This neck is very flat. It has no radius. Normally they have a curve to them. And I know your telly's got a nice curve on, because the tellys have a 9.5 radius. Generally, they're very, very pleasing to the hand. This is flat. It's a flat radius. It's a 16, so there's no curve on the neck. But it's not that. It's just that some of the neck frets are kind of high and low. You have to have the action really high to get something out of it. And plus the frets are kind of small. They're not worn. But it doesn't play well. It doesn't play well. And I did so much to it. I put better pickups in it, and I got the bridge working right. And I put on these killer tuners. They're vintage. These are Kluson tuners. They're locking Klusons. They're old school Klusons, which you would find in the 70s, but these are locking. I got them from Alibaba for like $22 for the set. They don't sell them in the U.S. You can't get locking Klusons. I put locking Klusons on it and this and that. And then I was so disappointed. I said, well, the hell with this. Klusons are coming off. They're going on the other one. And but it was one of these things, an impulse buy from a Goodwill thing.
But that's a really nice burst. Really nice.
It is. And I normally like cherry burst, where it's cherry and golden, but this is more of a, when it's got the maple, it'll look like a 50 Strat, I guess. I'm pleased with the body, but I made it, I blew it. I bought it and I paid too much for it, and neck is going to the ash heap because it's not. So if it doesn't play, that's why the tuning thing bothers me, and I get it. Always stretch your strings, and it happens here at the nut. There, lubricate that puppy, stretch your strings, and if your tuners these are lockers, so they lock down on, they pinch the string, and so these are great. If these are good and this is done right and this is down, it's not floating if it's down against the body, and inside here are some springs, but if it's done right and this is not going to move on you and that's not going to be a problem, like your LTD, I'll bet you anything stretching your strings and lubricating the nut might just do it. And worst case scenario, we'll get you some better tuners, and then you will just, it'll be the same pattern and everything, same screw. They won't be they'll take a 10 millimeter nut on the top to get it off. There's no drilling. Just swap them out, and that thing will give you probably till you're dead enjoyment with no problems. So that's all you got to do is just little bit of work, but tuners do matter. Even those entry level ones can jiggle. The post can move a little bit and stuff. And oh, by the way, I'm glad I brought that up. Not to belabor that. Take a 10 millimeter wrench and tighten the nuts on the top of those tuners. I think that's your problem. The tuners,
okay.
They get loose. They come from the factory, and wood shrinks over time, especially when they're making guitars. The wood, they don't let the wood cure and dry out, and there's always water and moisture in the wood. And I'm thinking, if you just tighten, this is what happened 1,000 times. It was going to be one of these videos I was going to make. Tighten your tuners down on top with a 10 millimeter wrench. If you tighten those posts down, probably that'll be your tuner problem gone away.
Okay.
Because if it's loose, the peg can move, and the peg can be pulled, toward the, the strings pulling on each peg. And so if the nut isn't tight there, that's the problem. Whenever I got a guitar that didn't stay in tune, I locked this baby down. I tightened the tuners down. And I don't know how I forgot to tell you that, but tighten the tuners down with a 10 millimeter nut, and you're probably going to be golden, and that's all you got to do.
Okay.
And I'm not to bore you, but if anyone out there is going to buy a guitar and you don't, you buy one from used or whatever, these are little things you got to do, and it'll never be a problem for you. But as it is, those tuners always get loose. If that would be tighten down the little screw from the back too, tighten that down, the little screw that holds it in place in the back, but the nut on the front is everything. The nut's tight, strings are stretched, lubricate the nut. But I think we got it fixed. I think we got it.
Okay.
Boring.
Frightful Not Media says, thank you, Eric. This stream is very helpful because I'm planning on changing my diet and some other things after the new year. And yeah, I've taken caffeine pills before to help with my headaches. Yeah, a lot of the migraine medications or the over-the-counter stuff contain caffeine. That's like one of the biggest parts of them is like a big dose of caffeine.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the vasoconstriction thereafter or the vasodilation thereafter. Why would I not know that? But caffeine, my ex would pound down cappuccinos and espressos to get rid of her headaches. Hers were coming from hormonal aspects of once a month, and it would overwhelm her liver. And these extra estrogen, the body could not deconjugate the extra estrogen that was being assaulted with, and so she needs to take something called DIM, diindolylmethane, and help her liver out. Help your liver out if you're having headaches once a month, ladies. It's the hormonal. It's your liver's got to deconjugate these hormones. But yeah, it's either that liver or but I would try what we've already discussed, and bless the man. I think that's probably the most debilitating thing you could have is a headache, like to that level.
Yeah, yeah. They're. I've had a few in my time, and they're definitely not pleasant.
And yeah, diet.
Uh, Dice Roland says, out of curiosity, as someone who's dealt with Crohn's, almost in remission and the absolute worst, what are some good things for something like that?
I like staying away from the things that can cause that. If it's not infection based, please look at eliminating wheat, barley, oats, and rye. Eat wheat, barley, oats, and rye. Oats are very similar to wheat in the it doesn't have glutens. It has gliadins, but the gliadins can harm the villi, and how can I put it? They will erode the villi over time, just like glutens will. But Crohn's, in my world, it's infection in the intestinal tract, or it's the foods you're eating eroding the villi and causing it could cause a lot of disruption in the gut. And what you're eating matters with Crohn's, and this man knows this. There's always some infection based. Have a functional stool test done by a good clinical nutritionist or a doctor that's very versed in functional testing, but find out with a stool test. And also you can run a food allergy testing. It's not expensive, and find out what foods you're allergic to or have sensitivities to. The immune system is based on IgA and IgG. IgA and IgG aspects of food sensitivities. 3 days, you have to go a total of 21 days of elimination of a certain food to get to find out if to clear it from your system. 21 days. There's a 3-day IgA, and then IgG is 21 days. But the immune system reacts to the foods we eat, sometimes very poorly. But Crohn's, in my opinion, we pick up infections. We get infections into the 26, 7, 8 feet of intestinal tract, and you can pick up a bug, and it'll help erode. It's somewhat like leaky gut. Leaky gut, you get infections. There has to be permeability to the gut in order to extract nutrients. Nutrients have to leave the gut and be routed to the liver for repair and maintenance, but there has to be some level of permeability in all of us. But the problem is when there gets to be more permeability due to infection in the intestinal wall or erosion of the villi, erosion of the intestinal wall due to wheat, barley, oats, and rye, we can get these kinds of problems, Crohn's, and the doctor will give you any other thing but looking into what it really is. This is the gut's in a bad way. Kefir, probiotics, and a good one like Healthy Trinity would be very helpful. Something called butyric acid. Butyrate. Look into butyrate. Butyric acid. When you eat fibrous foods, it turns into butyric acid to feed your intestinal wall, your colon wall. So we want to take in butyrate to help heal the leaky gut and help fuel the intestinal wall. Probiotics in the form of kefirs or Healthy Trinity. These kinds of things, fermented foods and things that will be good for the intestinal wall. Heal your intestinal wall. Use glutamine, butyrate, kefirs. Healthy Trinity is a great probiotic in your refrigerated section. Healthy Trinity. So butyric acid is not expensive, and I think it's called the name of the back of the label should say like tributyrin complex. But butyric acid, look into butyrate, is BUTYRIC, butyric acid. But butyric acid is fuel for your intestinal wall to heal it. Generally comes from fibrous foods that we eat, but we don't eat enough of them. But when you take butyrate, it's like eating a truckload of fibrous foods. But butyrate throughout the day, you can do a lot to come off of that one. But if it might be infection based, and all the anti-infectives, there's a lot of them, Piz, but I mean, you got to find out. That's why you really want to have a functional test by a guy that knows and what kind of bug do you got. But kill off the bugs, heal the intestinal wall, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's a long way out. I know it's not it's not tomorrow. It's not a super pill. It's not a pill that a doctor will give you. It's a lifestyle. But butyric acid and probiotics and all this and glutamine. L-glutamine is what I'm saying. It's an amino acid that helps heal the intestinal wall. Understand with glutamine, I'll be very brief. The muscles make glutamine. The muscles make L-glutamine. The intestinal tract does not make glutamine, but the intestinal tract steals the glutamine from the muscles to keep the health and integrity of the intestinal wall. So you'd think the intestines would make glutamine too. No, the musculature does. And they found with athletes that overwork their muscles, they make less glutamine. Their muscles are in a constant state of stress. They don't make the glutamine like they do if you like a couch potato would. So a couch potato makes more glutamine than an athlete because the athlete's constantly pounding his muscles. So they have found that athletes that constantly use their muscles make less glutamine. Therefore, the gut gets shortchanged to glutamine, and there's always gut problems with athletes, gut problems. So that's kind of a sports medicine doctor was telling me this 20 years ago, that most athletes have gut problems because their muscles make the glutamine, but they make less of it because they're too active on them. And then the intestinal tract gets shortchanged. So take L-glutamine, it stays in the intestinal tract. It doesn't leave it. It doesn't feed the muscles. If you take it, it feeds the intestinal tract. So get a source of L-glutamine powder, get it cheaply in powder, like a kilo of it, 2.2 pounds, 1,000 grams, eBay, L-glutamine, and take L-glutamine and butyric acid and probiotics, kefir. If you can get nothing else, get kefir, Kefir. It's like yogurt, only it's got loaded with bacteria that are very good for you. It's not yogurt's dead after a couple of days. It's not good. So within that, what I've said is the secret sauce. There's good there.
Yeah.
I'm killing you. I'm killing everyone. I'm so
Well, we're gonna start winding down because I don't want to keep you all night, Eric.
No, I'm boring you, and I thank you. But we've ended it with maybe saving a couple people. And
yeah, I think we've definitely a lot of good information has gone out there I've never played a 6-string bass. I've got a 5-string bass, but I've never played a 6-string. Nancy K wants to know, Eric, what is your favorite 80s horror movie?
she's seen 140 and they're all from the 80s, and she wants to know what my favorite 80s horror movie is.
Yes.
Oh God, can you pitch in for me on that, Piz? Wow, I don't know, because if I told you I don't know these things, I'm gonna be the biggest dog in the world.
Well, what about just what's your favorite? What's a favorite just 80s movie in general? It doesn't have to be horror.
Man, well, 80s. There's some good ones. There's silly ones. I just revisited I Come in Peace, but that's not my favorite.
Oh, that's a fun one. That's a fun one.
Dolph Lundgren. And my friend, Matthias Hughes. Criminy. I don't know. I'm supposed to say like Die Hard. But I don't know. I've never seen Nightmare. I've never seen these. I've never seen any of them. I'm terrible. I like movies like Get Carter from Michael Caine, 1971. I like that kind of stuff. But that's way earlier. I have to pass. I don't know, and I'm sorry. I'm such an ass.
Eric's just not a big horror guy.
I should be. My film wasn't horror. I was horrible, but in a good way. It had some horrible. But it. No, I don't know. And you guys are all horror, and I appreciate it. I think I would be I would be overtaken with it if I got into that all these series. Like, oh man, I just got done with Nightmare Part 5, man, or something. And I'd call you, Piz, and say, whoa, what have I missed? This is great. So maybe next year I'll have the answer.
Okay. Listen, I think Sam is onto something. You should take up a career in motivational speaking.
Well, Sam, thank you. No, someone said that, oh, she'd be a coach or something. I kind of thought of that guy. I can't stand him because he's like a cheerleader. What's his name? He's been a cheerleader forever for like businesses and
like Tony Robbins?
Tony Robbins. Right. He reminds me of this Las Vegas used car salesman huckster, like a huckster. I just want to, I'm sorry. I know he's a nice guy and he takes care of himself and he's handsome and he's rich and he's millions and he goes around, like rah, you can sell, you can do it. But I was sick and I still am trying to get well and I understand what it's like. So I kind of gravitate towards wanting to help. And some guys just remind me of Las Vegas used car dealers, and that Tony Robbins is one, and he might just be the nicest bloke in the world, but yuck, it's like remember that guy, he was a televangelist. He said, I have sinned.
Yeah. Right. Oh God, what was his name?
Yes, but the point is, I have sinned. Yes, and he's out there selling God for money, and then of course he's caught, with a boy in his bed or something. I don't know what, but the point is he was just a huckster, and it's like, I don't be real. I mean, be honest.
I forget his wife was Baker, something Baker.
Tammy Faye and Jim Baker.
That's it. Yeah. And he was caught in bed with a very voluptuous redhead.
That's it. Well, I was close. Caught in bed with something. Redhead, voluptuous redhead boy?
No. Very voluptuous redheaded. I think she was actually his secretary. So I mean, yeah,
it's the Gavin Newsom thing where he sleeps with the campaign manager's wife, and what a schmuck. I mean, he's got a beautiful wife at home and kids, and he's doing. That guy should be bitch slapped for that alone. Anybody entertaining that guy is anything other than a huckster and a fraud. Gavin Newsom is the biggest skunk, and I can't even go into how bad this man is. He's awful. He's driven this economy. We're hundreds of billions of dollars in the red because of this fool with the pensions he won't deal with. This guy's an awful man. He's awful. Awful. I'm sorry.
Here's somebody who's not awful. Thank you, Hort Orman, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas to you too, sir.
Thanks.
Appreciate that very much. Here you go.
It's garbage day.
It is.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, we're gonna start wrapping it up here. We've been going for almost 3 hours. It doesn't feel like 3 hours, but I don't want to keep you any longer, Eric. We've like you said, we've covered a lot of bases here. We talked about the movies. We talked about health and fitness. We talked about guitars. Hopefully we've helped some people out. So yeah, it's been another really fun and informative stream with the great Eric Freeman. So any last minute questions or anything, the link to jump on the stream, if you want to jump on, is still out there. Nobody's taking us up on that offer. I guess they're just intimidated by you, Eric.
No, they're sick. Like, how dare you divert off of our holiday horror to this washing machine stuff? But I'll take anything. Go garbage day on Newsom. Thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you guys. Riz, they're saving me, but I know I went far afield, and I maybe should do some videos to get out there. You remind me I need to get out there and do that. I just can't stand looking at myself these days, but I think there's information out there. I just feel for people that have problems. Because I know I've come from that world. So,
Yeah.
but no,
Well-
I apologize because guitars are way cooler to me, way cooler. So buy more guitars. We'll talk about your guitars next time. We'll just do a guitar show.
just do a guitar show. Just bring out all the guitars and talk about them. So, but I think we could. I mean, between the two of us, it would be a 4 or 5 hour stream probably. I mean, geez.
Yeah. We'll get some people I know on, and they're just as entertaining as well. That are guitar guys. But yeah, no, that's fun. And I do want to thank everyone for those of you that have hung in there through this madness. I'm lucky as hell. This thing has been still. I'm making money 36 years later. So I can't even believe it.
And a reminder, theericfreeman.com to get those autographed posters, 8x10s, the trash cans, which I've got mine right there, magnets, Christmas cards. Where's my Christmas card? It's around here somewhere. But all sorts of stuff. theericfreeman.com. The link is in the description. So there you go. Yeah, Eric, it's been another really fun stream hanging out with you. And I certainly appreciate your time, because I mean you've got a possum to take care of. I mean, goodness gracious.
No, I got real lucky. Right before I came on, he was scooting around in circles looking for me, and I fed him and I put him in his little place, and so he was munching and crunching, and then I said, "Oh, phew." The bad possum wasn't around to take his food, and we're all worked out. I got it. My timing was impeccable tonight. I got so lucky. He's hard to. I don't want to have to sit there and stare out the window for him, and I have, and I don't like doing it. But,
yeah.
That's tough. I need some sort of bell or something in his little alleyway. I should put that'd be a good idea. A little bell, ding ding. And
Yeah.
But
that's a good idea.
yeah, I love cars. I love little animals, and I love talking about things that don't matter. So thank you, Piz.
Well, let me do some shout outs here. Shout out to A7X, Eerie Spirit, Ash, and Astro Juicy for tuning in over on Twitch. Thank y'all very much. Shout out to Eric's possum. Have you named the possum?
Yeah, yes, I call him. He was albino. He is albino. He was all white, unusual, right? But I call him Albie, like albino.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I call him Albie. Yeah. So unless something better, but I don't know. I'm stupid.
it works. Hey, it works. It works.
Yeah,
so
Albie. So yeah, he's my buddy, and I feel so much better when I feed him. When I was at that con, I hired someone that didn't do well. He probably starved for 3 days. But, I know I'm a sap with this, but man,
I hear you. I mean, I think a lot of us are there too. I mean, we love our animals, so I mean, it's just well, I get it. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Well, I thank you anyhow. I've kept you, and for those, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah. Let's do some shout outs here over on YouTube. Thank you, Gaz. Thank you, Doug, for becoming channel members. Thank you, Nico, for the $10 super chat. Thank you, Dream Emulator, for the $4.99. Thank you, Taco Bela Lugosi, for the $1.99. Thank you, Gabe K. Okla, for the $4.99. Thank you, Harley Max 01 for the $20 super chat. That was very kind of you. Thank you, Alex Bacon, for 14 months of being a channel member. Thank you, Arthur on the Rocks, for the $6 super chat. Thank you, Bog Zombie, for the $5 super chat. Thank you, Horror Collections 13 for the $4.99, and thank you, Horror Orman, for the $2. Very kind of all you fine folks. And let's see who's still with us here over on YouTube. We've got Andy Shoemake still with us. We got Bog Zombie. We got Dead Zone 2023, Kevin Morrison, Joe Reese, Nico, Slasher Home Video, Dice Roland, Horror Collections 13, El Chewy Gringo, Gabe K. Okla, Cocoa Butter, Sam Thomason, Joe Reese, My Tube Multi-Revelator. Let's see who else is still with us on YouTube. We got my buddy Swaggy G was here, Jeff Overing, Frightful Night Media, Rizami, CJM, just another horror fan, Drum Smash 88. Yes, thank you all for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. And again, thank you, Eric, for hanging out with me tonight and for all the great information, and really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you having me on a yearly to rant and waste your time, but it's nice.
We all look forward to it. I don't know how many people asking, are you going to do another one of these with Eric? Why is it not scheduled? What are you doing? Where's Eric? What's up? So,
but as long as if we ever do it again, you admonish me before we start, Eric. No diversion. This is we're not going off on these tangents. You settle. So because I know I do that, and I'm sorry.
No, don't you apologize. A lot of good information went out there tonight. A lot of people you helped tonight, I'm sure. So, but anyway, have a great rest of your night. Thank you all again for tuning in. It's been great. TheEricFreeman.com. The link is in the description. Go check it out, and have a great rest of your Sunday night. And we'll see you again real soon. Peace.